trick and wait.
Okay. How long does he wait?
I don't know, a whole bunch of times.
Already.
Just gonna go for it.
Okay.
I like,
Hey, look,
I
it's
like
the
that
vampire killer.
I like that we're all high tech now. All of us. We got an intro and everything. It's ridiculous.
I like it,
I
though.
was a little bit in the back of my mind. I was like, he's going to change the picture for me. He's going to change the picture.
I'm never
You know what's in the
changing
back
that
of my
picture.
mind? Maybe he was going to turn the computer back around, and clearly he didn't. And once again, we are killing vampires at the start of the show.
Wow.
Turn the computer! Jesus!
But
You didn't have it. I don't understand. You didn't have it that way for the few times you were on, and now all of a sudden, here are the great outdoors.
That's incorrect. I actually turned it this way for you because you hated the other way because the other way the actual lights beam down into your face.
Yeah, but you turned off the lights, so clearly that wasn't a problem. You can't turn the sun off, Jor-El, as much as we'd like you to.
But in just a few moments.
No, not moments. Not moments. It's going to take minutes.
To a beautiful
it's not moments.
That will be beautiful like a sunset.
You know what I love? I love that Johnny gets very upset by the big things, but he gets very upset by the little things as well, like windows. He gets upset at windows.
He's consistent.
Have you spent?
Listen.
Have you spent so much time alone in your apartment that you're just upset at your own windows, Johnny, and you're taking it out on everybody else's windows?
Because I'll admit I've got a couple windows too, but they're way in the back, so all you're really seeing is the room lights and stuff like that.
Because I feel like I should open this window.
Awkward. Hey, Mario, shut up. You know what? You're watching. Okay, we're actually on the show.
Behind me, behind the Comics banner is a window, and I feel like I want to open it and let the light in right now.
Open it.
I'm Christopher.
Open it. That would be like the end of Lost Boys. This would be a great place if it wasn't for all the damn vampires.
We're the Frog Brothers when I need them, please.
Thank you. I've been killing it with my paintings lately. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I quite agree.
They have been. What did you call them? Not Art Deco. You called them something. Not psychedelic. No, recent. The ones you've been doing recently.
Pop art.
Pop art. They're like a stylized version of what you do.
Sure.
Yeah.
They've been really awesome. I saw the background. I loved it.
Background was very good. I like the thing. He was telling me, he was like, yeah, I didn't think it turned out good. I thought it turned out excellent.
So what you're telling me is you like Franco's thing.
Yes.
He likes my thing.
I like his giant size man thing. How about that? The dirtiest title in comic books.
Dirtiest title.
Giant size man thing.
Giant size man thing.
Wait till the kids see this.
I like that he. Jeff says he made it in time for the traditional Yoko Nagin light fight.
Before sundown, you can count on Mike Nagin bringing out the sundial and telling the world how much time, what time it is.
But listen, I'm sure we're just getting started. I'm sure it's going to come up 2 or 3 more times.
Oh my god!
At least, at the very least.
And again, 15 minutes from now. See, what's the problem? See,
right? That's what I'm saying.
But it's not 15 minutes.
I'm going to come up with a whole Johnny. Next pod, I'm going to come up with a whole new setup just for you. It's going to be
again. There were no
different location, less light.
You would think
maybe a little romantic mood lighting. I don't know, something.
Do like I talked to Jim Rugg last night. Do blacklight presentations. He's doing that. He's got his new book, his Kickstarter, Octobriana, is going to be a blacklight comic book.
Really? I did not know that.
It's
That's
very
pretty
cool.
cool.
He was
Where does it
inspired by
take
those great
place in the
posters.
70s?
I wish I had a pen to write that down. I don't have a pen.
Octobriana. It's
I'm gonna make
spelled
a
the
note.
way it sounds. What now?
I'm gonna make a note. I want to check that out.
Yeah.
I don't have a pen.
Just write it on the window behind you. You'll be
Exactly.
all fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Do it with your solar powered pen. It'll be a wall of lamps. Let's hope. No, don't give him ideas, Jeff. What are you doing? You and Mario, enough.
It will be a wall. Just high beam lights. The next one is the next spot. I'm gonna sit in the front of my car on the floor.
Wait, the Lotus sees us. He loves us. Don't worry. I actually took a nap prior to being on because my sleep's all over the place. First, I was waking up at like 4 in the morning. Now I've been waking up at like 2 in the morning. I'm like, all right. It gets some work for a while. And like I'll work for like 7 or 8 hours and then fall asleep again around 10 or 11 for a couple.
It must be everybody because last night I was working and I think I was talking to you, Johnny, right? Last night?
Yes. Uh-huh.
They all blur into each other. I was talking to you and Megan is like sending me work emails for different things at like 1 in the morning. And I text them, I'm like, but they're official work emails. So they have his, all his stuff on them. So I know not to be a wise ass and answer those like a wise ass. So I text them, like, what the hell are you doing up? It's like 1:30 in the morning.
And I was so busy doing whatever I was doing. I assumed nothing's happening on my phone. I didn't even check it till like an hour later. Then I texted you back. I was like, got work, can't sleep. And I was like, why are we? And I'm like, why am I up so late? Why? God, why?
You know why we're up? Because we're trying to make the money. We'll be right back right after this commercial.
Oh, right. Hey, we're back.
Hey!
Oh, well, hello, everyone. And it's good to see you.
Hiya, fellas.
How's everybody doing?
Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Hello to the viewers. Hello to everyone listening.
Hello.
Good to be here. Hello.
I have to warn everybody that I did not make any new commercials for this podcast. So you're just going to see the same commercial for me over and over again.
Very nice.
And also, we should tell the audience that Artie cannot be here tonight. He's got some things. I think he had to have an arm replaced because he wore his out drawing. So he's going to have his whole arm replaced.
Ow.
Does he have a cybernetic arm?
I think so. He's turning into the Bionic Man, I think.
So,
yeah.
I like it.
I've been watching episodes of the Bionic Man on
Cozy
TV.
Does it still hold up?
No, but yesterday had an episode with Farrah Fawcett. And
the hyphen in the majors when you say Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah, because she was Farrah Fawcett Majors then.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
She was major.
That was totally like either right before or right after the poster.
I'm telling you, she wore this headband and her curl flips were coming out from underneath her blue headband.
Hot.
And I can't be held responsible, fellas. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. No, Jeff, I think it's really the virus. That's messing with my sleep. I don't think it is the overnight thing, but I'm all over the place, and it's whatever. And I unlike you guys, or I don't know. I shouldn't mean. I'm asking you guys. I keep having Zoom nightmares or Zoom dreams, and I'm like, really? Like, can I get any sort of escape from this status quo? Like while I'm at least sleeping? No, apparently not. So that's probably why I'm so cranky.
I keep having Skokie Jeff Goldblum nightmares. That's what I've been having.
Those are the best kind of nightmares.
Yes.
I keep seeing his apartment.com spots.
You know what I keep dreaming about?
Your
DJ
window.
Jeff air fresheners.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
It's hard not to.
I know it's coming, Skoke. I know you're taking good care of it.
Are they going to be filming a new apartments.com commercial in your apartment soon?
No, I hope so. They could. He's already here.
Yeah,
really.
That's what I mean.
Cut to the bathroom for the other shot.
I'm curious though, Johnny. Do any of us ever appear in your dreams that you have about Zoom?
No, and that's it hasn't been any of you guys. No, because it's pleasant memories, except for Captain Window over here. But
You dream about, you have nightmares about my window and my
no,
lights?
no.
Captain Window.
Yeah, it's like Zoom brand sleep
Window.
deprivation. It is exactly, Jeff. That's exactly what it's like. I don't know. I don't understand it. But I'll either like be in a Zoom conversation, or I am still having radio like dreams of like, why are you out here? You should be on the air right now. Oh no! And I got to run to like the microphone and stuff, stupid stuff like that.
Do you guys have nightmares like that? Because Johnny obviously does. But do you, Mike or Mike?
Zoom nightmares?
Well, not specifically Zoom, but like nightmares where they kind of get you going. I don't really have those. I have them like once, like every couple of years, once a year, maybe twice a year, if that. But
Not usually.
They don't stress me out where I'm like when I wake up or anything like that. I mean, I will be like, all right, I wake up, but as soon as I'm up, I'm just angry. And like, really, that's what I'm dreaming about?
Well,
Like,
as soon as you go to sleep, you're angry. So
yeah,
It's true.
You're just angry all the time.
It's yeah,
That's your secret.
I'm in a grimace and just gritting my teeth and clenched fists.
I remember one vivid dream I had where this was dating myself now because this was a while
Hot.
ago, but
Go on.
it was I was stuck with Madonna in a dumpster, and I don't know. We were in a dumpster and we were stuck there, but I was with Madonna, and we were making out and stuff. So I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Was she a dumpster? Should it have been on fire? I don't know.
Was it Desperately Seeking Susan Madonna, or was it Vogue Madonna?
Oh yeah.
Or,
No,
it was American
yeah.
Life. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it was the Vogue Desperately Seeking.
Well,
in
no, it's
between.
different periods.
Yeah, I was saying it's in between. I don't remember what
Okay.
day exactly I had the
Did she have the bandana on? You know, like Borderline, like the videos.
I don't remember, Johnny.
All right.
Was it just the two of you, or?
In the dumpster.
Oh, in the dumpster, yeah.
Oh,
I think somebody was looking for us, but I don't know. I remember kissing her. I remember that.
they were desperately seeking you?
Yeah. Mostly. But what do you guys make of that dream?
See, yeah, Jeff, that's like, you know, or yeah, do you ever have like school dreams? Every now and then I still dream that
No.
I'm in college. And it's like, what the hell? And I'm like, and I'm getting ready to, it's something that I think kids can relate to. Like, I'm getting ready to go back home and I'm like, oh God, I got to clean my dorm room. And I know it's a mess. It's like, I got to clean all this up before I leave. I do
used to have a recurring dream when I was a kid that went well into my 20s that the Lou Ferrigno Hulk was trying to kill me. And he was literally chasing me through like a desert.
Just like that episode.
It's that episode, yes. It's that actual episode that scared me as a kid. And I had that recurrent, like I must have been like 28 or 29 when I finally stopped having them. But I would wake up in the sweats because it was like, you know, he's trying to get me. And yeah, for a very long time.
It's oh, that's interesting, Anthony. Weird Al was once stuck in a closet with Vanna White. I had to follow Vanna White around for an evening, and it was my job. I was on the film crew, and it was my job to follow her around. We were at a diamond summit or something. I forget what it was, but we were in a big
like a jeweler's diamond summit.
Yeah, it was like a convention or something like that. And she was like and it was our job to follow her and film her for the evening, and I remember that it was very hot. The air conditioning was broken. Everybody was in tuxedos and suits, and everybody was sweating to death except for Vanna. And that's when I was thoroughly convinced that she was an alien, or she had her sweat glands removed, because she was pristine. She did not sweat. She looked great. And
That's what she gets paid the big bucks for.
yeah, I'm sweating like a monkey, and then she's
Are you like that Warner Brothers cartoon with the abominable snowman? Gosh, it's hot. And he melts.
Can I take the suit off? Vanna, could you sop up all this sweat on the floor, please? See? But that was weird, but I had dreams about Madonna. I was actually in a room with Vanna White, but I was having dreams about Madonna.
What do you think the dream about Madonna means, Franco?
I was thinking if the dumpster was on fire, it would mean one thing, but I don't know. I don't know what it means. It means that maybe I liked her? I don't know.
Could be.
I would date her still. She's kind of hot.
Oh, she's a train wreck now.
Is she?
Madonna?
Haven't you seen her videos like where she's in the tub talking about like
No.
the most ridiculous things. She's
No, I
done
just
some
remember
videos-
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What? I don't remember what the subject was. I remember it was one of those viral videos of her, like from like a month ago. She was literally in her bathtub, naked,
No.
bubbles covering up where they were coming up. But she's talking about like politics, I think it was, and like it was bad. It was.
I got to look those videos up now. But
I just remember when she walked on that stage and kissed I forget which singer.
Britney Spears.
No, that was at the Grammys, and I do remember that. But no, this
And
was
Christina,
after that.
right?
What's his name?
And Christina Aguilera, right?
Well, yeah, but no, I'm talking about like a guy was on stage and she like walked on, and it was during his concert, and she kissed him. And there were woos because it's a concert; they woo at anything. But it really looked like grandma was giving grandson a kiss. It did not look sexy. It was like, yeah, this lady just kiss guys your own age, okay? It's not cool anymore.
That's weird because like she walked in the studio just yesterday and just started making out with me too. It was like the weirdest thing. Out of nowhere, she just showed
on your
up.
anniversary, on your 25th anniversary.
Yeah, happy 25th anniversary. Yeah,
That's right.
It might have been my wife dressed as Madonna, but I can't remember.
Wow.
So yeah,
It's borderline.
the vote.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Exactly. She had the paint can in her hand, like in Borderline.
That's
That's innocent, but I liked innocent Madonna. Once she got too sassy, I'm like, all right, whatever. When
She,
she was
like,
voguing,
really
I'm
just
like, we're done. What?
She reinvented herself over and over again. She was fantastic. It was great.
When she did that Super Bowl halftime show, I'm like, all right. I'm not
how
impressed.
about A League of Her Own?
I liked
Oh
her in
wait,
a
no.
league of-
Thank you,
What is
Mario.
I liked her in a league of her own.
How about
Is that the title?
Mario, do you think there's DJ Jazzy Jeff window treatments I can get? Because I would love that.
I think we're gonna get you a horse so you can beat it to death,
We're
and
gonna
then
get
keep beating it afterwards.
you put the S on there. All right, fine. There you go.
Madonna. I assume he's talking about Madonna being hit too hard.
She hit it hard too.
Yeah. I don't know. I would still kind of date her, maybe someone. I'm kind of I get that Warren Beatty feel from her, right?
What, like ageless? What do you mean a Warren Beatty feel?
Well, he was dating her like when she was doing that.
Oh, that's right.
Like the '90s Vogue thing when she was in Dick Tracy with him.
Didn't she? Her and Jose Canseco, I believe, as I remember. And Donald Trump, I believe he had her too. Nailed it.
And Rodman,
Ambassador Dennis Rodman too.
Ambassador Rodman.
That Dennis Rodman, I remember. Yeah.
Ambassador Rodman.
right? Why is he called Ambassador Rodman? Because
He's our ambassador to North Korea.
Yeah, North Korea,
apparently,
right. Yeah.
apparently,
Our special envoy.
lucky us. Because if you want anybody going over there trying to talk sense into somebody, you want to send Dennis.
Exactly.
Relations have never been better.
Hey, he can rebound. What are you talking about? You do want him over there.
He came up,
He's all over the glass. He's all over the glass.
he never went over there with $1,000 bottles of champagne and a bag of Coke, and relations have never been better.
And Korean Lou Costello was all over him. You know?
Korean Lou Costello.
He is. He's Korean Lou Costello. He can't help it.
He is.
I was concerned because he there were rumors that he had died.
It's like Castro. They used to do it with Castro all the time, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hasn't been seen in 30 days. There must be something wrong.
Wait, can you see the effect in the windows now? It looks like the windows are on fire. Do you think, are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Stop taking mescaline before the show.
No, really, what is happening there?
Is that like bricks in the window? What's happening?
It doesn't look like bricks in the window. Where is it coming from?
Why don't you solo him? Give him a solo so we can see how his place
How is
on
that
fire.
happening?
Give him a solo.
There
I
you
don't
go.
know.
Look at that.
But why is that happening? There's no brick. I'm on the third floor. There's no bricks back there.
It's like the burning of Atlanta. I don't know.
It's like we're walled off inside your mind or something.
You're in a live version of the Omega Man, and the zombies are all trying to burn you out like Charlton Heston.
There you go.
I like the zombies in the Vincent Price one. They're not too scary. They're just like a bunch of humans outside, and they're all going. There's one zombie always yelling. He's going, "Morgan, let us in. You hear?" That's as threatening as they get.
They shot that in Italy last
Did they
week.
really?
Yeah. Yes, I'm the last man on earth. Would you all like some bouillabaisse? I'm making it right now. It'd be good.
I'm stuck in a cave and kids are coming in to find an idol.
Our former friend of the show, Sarah, used to have the Vincent Price cookbook and got Victoria Price, his daughter, to sign it, which is kind of like getting Jack Nicholson's grandson to sign your putter.
Or Curly's grandson to do a cameo for you.
Yes. Did I ever tell you guys my Charlton Heston story?
No.
I don't recall.
So I used to go to book when I worked in Manhattan.
Oh, I used to go to this, yeah.
I used to go to book signings a lot, very often, because I love signed books and I love celebrities. So Charlton Heston was doing a book signing on Fifth Avenue, the Barnes & Nobles on Fifth Avenue. So I went down there, and it was packed. There was a ton of people there. So I was like, I don't get enough time to stand online to get his book and meet him. But, I just kind of want to look and see him. And, I couldn't really see him. And I was like, oh, whatever. So soon enough, the signing ended because I got there late. And he starts to walk out. Now, he's got, 8 bodyguards because he was older at the time. And they just wanted to keep people off him. Maybe I don't have a virtual background, Anthony. I don't know. So, for this at least. So, he's walking out of Barnes & Nobles, and people are like, Mr. Heston, and he is...
Were they trying to rip the rifle out of his cold, dead hands?
Yes. Damn dirty ape. Yes. So people were trying to get his attention, and he was laser focused on just moving ahead. He did not want to interact with people, didn't want to talk to people, nothing. He just kept walking and walking and walking. But I said, all right, I'm standing in an area where he's walking by. I want to get a peek at the guy. He's Charlton Heston, for God's sakes. So he keeps walking, and again, people are lunging to just touch him and want to shake his hand, and he keeps walking. He gets in front of me, and all of a sudden, he's just like this. He turns to me, goes, puts his hand out, he goes, thanks for coming. Shakes my hand and keeps going. And I wasn't even one of those guys that was like, Mr. Heston. I was just standing there calmly. I had bought a book. I was standing there with my bag, and for some complete random reason, he turned to me and shook my hand. So odd. And then he walked out and didn't speak to another person. And it was like 50 people waiting to talk to him, inside, outside. I was the only one who got the hand.
Maybe because you look like an ape?
Damn dirty ape to you. I'm not an ape.
He was having flashbacks.
Didn't we work together on a Fox film? Weren't you and Dick Zanuck talking to me on the set one day?
Weren't you the best boy or Key Grip on Beneath the Planet of the Apes? No, that was...
on Amazon Prime, Great Apes documentary, Making Apes. It mostly focuses on the makeup men. John Chambers and John Chambers' chief assistant. The chief assistant is really the narrator. Chambers died in the early 2000s, but it's a really interesting story. And, John Chambers was a character in Argo, and John Goodman played him. Yeah, and, because the actual John Chambers, beyond doing the ape makeup, was one of the people that the CIA used to legitimize that fake movie that they were making in Iran to get those hostages out and stuff.
Interesting.
So yeah, John Chambers. But no, it's a great movie, and the two surviving actors that I think Linda Hamilton is still alive, and I think also
Linda Harrison. You mean?
Yes, sorry, Linda Harrison, and the guy who plays one of the in Beneath the Planet of the Apes, one of the underground people that I reveal my true self. The black gentleman that rips his face off and stuff. I know they're alive still, but it was Julius from the first movie, the teenage ape.
Oh, first name Orange.
No, and he's the one who Heston says never trust anybody over 30. But he's like, that's the spirit, the young revolutionary spirit, and he's ancient now. And then also the kid who played Little Cornelius in Battle for the Planet of the Apes, Caesar's son. And it's hilarious because they both look and sound the way they did 50 years ago, but obviously it's 50 years down the line, so they're both old now. But I had no idea they were still alive, but they had memories of being on set and everyone they interacted with. Cool. It's if you're an Apes fan, I highly recommend it. Again, Making Apes is what it's called, and it's like a year-old documentary, maybe 2-year-old documentary, but very good.
I loved them as a kid. They were my stepfather's favorite movies. So
oh my god!
But I haven't seen them in
That's the original, that's the original merchandising franchise. Years before Star Wars, like Fox, did merch. Obviously, the Migos and
It was Migos.
trading cards though too, and obviously festivals and drive-ins and big theaters and stuff. Go Ape this weekend, or the movie of the afternoon movie.
Right.
All week would be all 5 movies and stuff. So.
One of my favorite toys of all time was the Treehouse playset, the Mego playset from Planet Apes. I love that.
Oh yeah.
For the listeners and viewers, if you go back into the archives of the Oh Yeah podcast, there's an episode where Johnny, Art, and Franco do a commentary of the original Planet of the Apes,
Yes, we did.
which I've watched along with their commentary, and it was quite humorous. I recommend it.
Mike just went outside to clean up all the dead vampires that are on the lawn from his window and stuff. He's got to scrape them off the window.
Hey, Johnny, I listened to you today.
Oh, thanks, man. Oh, on the score?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, they had
talking about Mike Tyson.
Yes, I'm planning on making a comeback of some sort, and I'm very excited about it. Maybe you saw the video of myself throwing many punches and combinations. It was quite exciting.
You made a good point, though. Like, you saw that he's clearly in good shape, and like those short clips of him doing those whatever, that's great. But you mentioned, let's see this guy. What happens if he goes like a full, what would you call it? A round?
A round.
No.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
A full, yeah.
Yeah.
How long is he going to last, and what kind of shape is he going to be in for that? That was a good point.
Well, because again, all we saw are highlights, and they're no more than like 10 seconds of actual footage. And yeah, he looked great throwing combinations. Or again, he was like I said, he looks good hitting the mitts. The mitts don't hit back. Let's see what happens when there's actually a live target. And actually, within the last year or so, there are some similar clips of him actually in sparring with a guy. It's okay, but like I said, Conor McGregor, excuse me, the MMA fighter that fought Floyd Mayweather, he looked good in his training little clips too. And then we saw him fight, and it's like he's not that good. And I mean, Tyson has the skills. But the big thing is, does he have the legs to keep going?
Right.
Oh, look, even more light now. Once again.
I think.
Once again.
I think you and McGregor would be good fighting.
Hello there. Hello there. Hello there.
Yes, I am Mike.
Yes, listen, my new opponent is Obi-Wan Kenobi from the sequels. Yes, the prequels.
Yes.
So, that's nice, Brad. You watching John's Stargirl episode with Jeff Johns? We're gonna do that every week. No, please keep shoving things in the camera there, Mike. Absolutely, that's good. Oh, look at that. Those are ape. Are those VHS, VCRs? What are those?
VHS.
Oh, they are. Wow,
nice.
All of them have a brick background. That's weird.
What is that? How did I get that? I found all these VHS tapes, the original Planet Apes. So when we started talking about it, all of a sudden I was like, oh, I should show and tell these.
All 5. The original 5.
The original 5. What my OCD though has it kind of killed me.
Robert, I should have. I'm sorry. I apologize. Continue, Michael.
Go ahead. My OCD kills me if I can't. I don't know if you can see.
No, we can't.
Damn bricks! What is that?
They look like bricks. You have some sort of background filter on.
See, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Can you fix like whatever camera shit you have before you come on the air? Is that possible?
For whatever reason, number 3 is Roman numerals, whereas the other 4 are regular numbers, and that always drove me crazy.
Good story. All right. Hold on. Robbie pointed out that Tyson was on AEW last night. And I meant to say this today on the air. It could very well be that, he's showing all this stuff, and then it's going to end up being like a wrestling promotion of some sort. I don't think he's going to do MMA, because I think that's even harder than boxing, frankly, because it is more than one discipline of fighting at a time. But I could easily see him just getting all in shape and stuff, and then being part of some wrestling story.
Weren't there a bunch of boxers in MMA at the beginning, and they all did really poorly?
Yeah. They all got creamed, as they say. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ray Mercer, former heavyweight, James Toney. So,
I am far from asleep. I was actually looking down at my other computer screen. So there, I ain't asleep. Go there.
There you go.
Trying to figure out how to get rid of the bricks.
You just put up a coat of paint, I believe.
Tyson is 53, Jeff.
53. I saw him in Grand Central Station one day. I was walking by and he was there, and he's a short little, not a short little guy, but he's a smaller little guy, and his neck is as wide as his head. He looked like a bulldog.
Totally.
And this was in his prime when he was fighting. I'm like, man, this guy's.
They would say he's 5'10", but everyone's like, yeah, he's probably really 5'9" or 5'8". But it didn't matter because again, he was so dynamic. And like again, what I said on the sports broadcast was because my buddy Dan, who was talking to me, he's like, well, do you think he's got power still? As far as his fists go, I go, it's not about his fists, it's his legs. Can he keep? He would literally piston and then pop up and throw punches and stuff. And it's like, again, can you do it for 3 minutes times 10 or whatever? I mean,
how
that's
was he such an animal for such a long period of time? He was winning those fights within the first few minutes, but he was just like a powerhouse, though.
Because again, his small stature was his advantage. He would get under a longer, lankier fighter's jabs and pop up and hit him inside. And really, as my buddy Dan was saying, the host, like fight phone booth warfare and really get close. That's how he beat him. And they didn't know how to react. And also his reputation. I mean, half the opponents were scared to death before they even got in the ring and everything. So there you go.
No bricks.
No bricks.
I like what Anthony said, though. He said that these are from the Brittarian collection.
We get it. It's a VHS, Mike. I don't know what else you want to do with that. Seriously, I think you've played it out, but thanks for playing.
No, you know what else I found? For TV.
Oh, I have that somewhere.
God.
Where did you get that?
Are you operating a truck stop in your house? Is that what? Because that's the kind of shit we would see, like those in Ernest videos and Larry the Cable Guy.
Classics right here, though.
Oh, those I have as well. Where did we get them, Mike? We got them in the 80s. That's where we got them.
Exactly.
You get in your DeLorean and you go back. And I pulled one more out because this also classic.
Oh,
Disco Sweat.
Come on, honey. Push it together.
Disco Sweat.
That was my
that
favorite.
a gift?
That was my favorite podcast from recent memory, where apparently Richard Simmons was like doing like the total isolation thing, and people couldn't get to talk to him and stuff, and it was very weird.
Didn't they think he was dead at one point because he hadn't talked to anybody in
years? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was like Zsa Zsa Gabor and her husband of royalty that was like half dead, and it's like, no, Wolfgang can't come. He's very busy right now, darlings.
Zsa Zsa.
So, did you guys hear the news about Cavill saying that he's coming back for more Supermans?
Yeah,
I did. Yes, I did read that.
Are we happy or upset about that? I, for one, am happy.
Yeah,
he's gorgeous. I love him.
He is a great Superman that has been written poorly.
Yeah, it's not his fault. It's like the James Bonds. It's not his fault. Any flaws that have been in the movies that he's been in, it's certainly not his fault. And especially given what they said, that it was going to kind of be like Mark Ruffalo with the Hulk, where he will be in other heroes' movies and stuff as Superman. I think that's a great idea.
Yep. He was, when they finally let him become Superman in a way in Justice League, like when they finally gave him a little bit of breathing room with that character, he was great. I mean, I'm not a fan of the other movies, but that wasn't really Superman.
You know that he fought for his chest hair to remain in the movie, in the first Superman movie, because they wanted him to shave it off. But he cited the Death of Superman comic books, and he's like, no, look, because I guess Dan Jurgens or whoever did those issues.
In the Death of Superman, there's chest hair, yeah.
Yeah. So good. I'm glad he kept it. Yeah. I'm glad he kept it.
He could have shaved that.
Sorry. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No, my joke was bad. Please continue.
No. I just, all this talk of chest hair, I couldn't help but think of the great Jamie Farr and how he also fought to keep his chest hair on Mage.
Captain, please.
He didn't fight to keep anything. He had hair all over. They couldn't help it.
Exactly.
He'd shave it
Trying to
off,
see
and like
if he had
2 minutes later, he'd have a 5 o'clock shadow on his chest ass.
He showed up to set one day without a shirt, and they're like, "Jamie, why are you wearing a sweater?"
Yeah, see, those are the types of jokes you cut off before, Mike.
Why don't you go back to showing us VCRs and giving us the intricacies of your 8 boxes?
Now,
But
what is a VCR?
It's
Very
a
nice.
system cover. It's like a video version of the 8-track.
Now,
Yeah.
what is an 8-track?
Okay. All right. So let's
Listen,
go down. Let's Google
Yeah, go ahead.
stuff before you ask questions like that.
I'm totally kidding, you guys. Actually, I was alive for all of that stuff. I was there for VHS. I was there for records too. I caught the tail end of records,
Wow.
and
They're
I was
back.
there for cassettes too.
They're back. I was lamenting the fact that one of the original casualties of COVID was New Vinyl Day, New Vinyl Saturday, that they do every April nationally. And a lot of artists make really cool new vinyl exclusives and stuff like that.
I have a friend who's doing a documentary about vinyl and the companies who are left in the country still making vinyl. He's traveled to these places and interviewed people, and he's putting this together now.
Cool.
I'll plug him. He's Deep Cuts Vinyl on Instagram. His name is Sean Ruddy, and I'm not sure when it's going to be completed, but he's been working on this for the past couple of years, and it's been interesting seeing some of the footage over time. He'll post clips and stuff. I know nothing about records or the process, or I don't have a record player, but it's interesting to see the conversations he has with these people. I'm looking forward to the documentary.
What submarine sound effect are we getting in the background with somebody's audio?
I'm pretty sure Mike Naked is underwater.
I have a feeling it's in the vampire house and everything. So
Look
the
at how
House of
pretty it
Usher.
looks outside the window now.
I'm sorry.
Look how pretty it
Again,
looks.
congratulations on 25 minutes since we started that the Earth has moved. Dumbass.
Just saying. Sometimes you gotta wait for the payoff.
See, hey, look. Good
So
Lord.
here's time for another Johnny.
We'll be right back after
tirade.
this. Oh,
No,
I thought we were going to go to a commercial.
time for another Johnny tirade after this word. No. What do you think of the Snyder cut? Are you upset that they're going to do this? That they're going to
Why would you be upset?
I'm not upset. But there were people who were upset. Like, this is fan toxicity. They're gonna. All the fans cry out, and now they're gonna actually, do this. That's bad. I'm like, I'd want to see it.
Are you hearing it too?
I have a ceiling fan going. Let me see if that's it.
I don't think that's it. No, it sounds like some sort of reverb or something.
All right, I'm gonna mute my mic for a second. Tell me if it's me.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It is Naked. Dumbass. God damn.
I don't got anything going.
He's literally in the submarine, I'm telling you.
I don't have anything going on in this room besides.
If I were running the show right now, you'd be off right now. I'm just saying. I'm just fucking saying. You got to swear. You got to be dropping that.
You wouldn't do that if I was like Grant Morrison or Jeff Johns.
I would stop. Are you kidding me? Poor Walter Payton, and I had no. And seriously, true story. I feel horrible about it, but I'll cop to it. He hadn't revealed that he had his terminal problem, and he would come on every morning because he was hired to analyze Barrett games the Monday after the games. And I was on the morning show, and he was lying down and didn't have a speakerphone, and must have had like the actual handset like away from him, and it would be like, "Oh, I really think that the game is," and I'm like, Walter, we can't understand you. Can you please speak up? Not knowing that I'm talking to literally a dying man. And he's like, "Who said that?" And I said, "I did, Shaky." He's like, "Shaky, chill out." And I'm like, "All right." And then literally like 2 weeks later,
it's like, Walter Payton. Don't feel bad.
Well, 2 weeks later, then he revealed that he was dying, and I'm like, "Oh, that's why he was doing it."
And he still yelled at him.
Well, I loved Walter. Walter was incredibly great to me. Seriously, he was. I would not claim to be friends, but we were very good acquaintances, and he would mess with me all the time in the best way. And I was incredibly flattered that he would remember who I was and everything. But I felt really bad about that. but not as bad as I do right now, where Mike Nagan is broadcasting from the bottom of the ocean from his vampire lair.
Let's mute him and see what happens. Oh, it's great.
Wow.
Isn't that cleaner and nicer? I would almost suggest that Mike raise his hand, turn on his mic when he wants to talk, and then be quiet because it's honestly very annoying.
I'm gonna take my VHS tapes and go home. Wait, I already am home.
Like I don't know what it honestly, man. Like, do you have earbuds? Honestly, Mike, do you have earbuds in or anything right now, or no?
Nothing.
See,
nothing.
you need to put in earbuds. If you don't have them,
No.
well, get and do something about it because honestly, like it's. I mean, sorry, man. I don't mean to be. We used to make fun of Dan McNeil at the Score because he was like a sound like purist, and we're like, hey, Tuscanini. It is what it is. We can't do anything about it.
I wish I could hear what you hear, but there's nothing going on. There's literally me and this computer, and
honestly, it really does sound like you're in a submarine. It echoes when you talk and stuff like that. It does.
Do I have something else? Oh wait, hold on. What about now? Is it the same thing?
No. So what was it?
Yeah,
Dumbass.
what happened?
What did you have on? What electric blanket?
Did you have your virtual background
in the
down?
fucking toaster or something like that while you're talking?
I went into another tab to figure out how to turn off the virtual background, and I left that.
Jesus! Will you quit? You're like my other friends who like, hey, look, I got a virtual background. Isn't this great? Oh, I got breaks. I don't know why.
I don't know how it got turned on, but I didn't know how to turn it off.
Pre-flight check, Hal Jordan. When you're in the cockpit and you're about to launch, you want to check all your instruments before you get in the air.
I check my cockpit before I get online every day.
God damn it.
Megan, don't feel bad. If you were dead Walter Payton right now, he'd still be yelling at
And
you.
right now, Walter's like, yeah, exactly. Walter's doing nothing but like, yeah, shut up, Shaky. He's saying it right
Walter
now.
right now is like, hey, Johnny, hey, shut up.
Hey, welcome to another Rig video. I'm Mike Nagan. I'm talking to Grant Morrison. Grant, what's going on, Grant?
You wouldn't treat them like this. You don't yell at Grant Morrison.
By the way, it's back, so I don't know what the hell you're doing. So technical difficulties. Please stand by. Thank you, Jeff. You're damn right. Earbuds are $6 at the gas station.
I like this. This is my favorite comment of the night right here from Robert Thompson.
What did he say? Oh, blank.
when did the Oh Yeah podcast just become 2 hours yelling about my lights and my audio?
I think honestly, I think it's when you turn the lights on and turn the camera towards the window. That's when it became.
Yeah, exactly. Picking up the solar radiation.
I'm starting to build a complex. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, but Robert, the difference is Robert's like I'm in IT. I do that shit all the time. See, yeah, but you're not like broadcasting like to hopefully like people watching and stuff.
Yeah, you're not broadcasting like 3 people out in the world right now.
I'm not going to release this as an audio. I'm not going to release it as an audio. People are going to listen to this crap, man.
On the principle, hey, I can exit out and then come back in and see if it fixes.
Maybe that would honestly, I was going to suggest that truly, and really, I don't mean to pick on him,
See, now you hurt his feelings.
I feel like a Ferengi in Deep Space Nine. It's like, ow, my God. I saw that one the other day. It was the second season episode. Like they got their rats, voles or whatever, and they like create like a sonic thing to like drive the voles crazy, and Quark just goes and he falls over. And it was I totally forgot about that. It was hilarious. So
if you're just joining us on the Oh Yeah podcast audio version only, this is the beginning of our show right now. You missed the first half hour or 45 minutes of Johnny yelling at Negan.
Of silence.
All right. Listen, we're going to be right back after these words.
And now we're back.
All right, now we're going to see.
By the way, still making the noise. What a nice 2 minutes of silence we had, and now we're back. And once again,
is it still making noise?
Turn the humidifier off, Felix Unger. Whatever. I got to keep coming up with. You know, quit riding the floor waxer while you're broadcasting with us.
I turned my vibrator off. I'm not.
Exactly.
It's not
This
me.
portion of the Yeah podcast brought to you by Gallon of Water from Scope.
I can't stop drinking it, guys. I started running again, and I'm all dehydrated now, so I'm drinking this like every 2 seconds now.
I understand. I have my giant glass.
Listen, you have some kids around the house. Why don't you go steal some of their earphones or something?
I like that Negan's trying to sound quiet and stuff, and then every now and then his Roomba comes up, and it's still like.
It's like the sonar, ping, ping.
Exactly. He's looking for bogeys.
Every one of us own iPhone headphones that don't plug into your laptop. That's the problem.
They have to. I think around the back there's a little thingy jack in there.
This is our road version of the Hunt for Red October. Vasily, one ping only, please.
Thank you.
Give me a ping, Vasily.
Vasily.
I love that movie. You guys, you gotta add lines from Hunt for Red October in your Connery repertoire. Let's go.
Oh yeah, I saw it a long time ago. Wasn't Connery trying to do? Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
yeah, that's right, Jeff. You are 100% right. He is picking up sound from a speaker.
But we do this all the time. We literally do. All right, I'm going to lower my. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So far, so good.
Oh yeah. Try not to speak no.
At least the original cut of this podcast.
Is that better?
Every time you talk, sir. This portion
like
brought to you by Hoover Vacuum Cleaner.
It's like you're in the lightsaber battle at the end of Endor.
You can't win, Darth. Strike me down and my room noise will kill you.
Yeah, no, Robert, I need the ice. Please send me ice.
Hey, I don't come into these wanting to hurt. I want to help.
Yeah, you do.
But again, it's like, hi, how's it going, Klieg lights? Wow, what's the problem? Exactly, shiny VCRs in our face.
Oh, shit.
He doesn't treat Grant Morrison like this.
Well, again, because Grant, hey, even Mark Miller, who like half the time when we talk is outside walking, and it's like, oh, great, listen, here's all the ambience of Scotland while we're talking, and I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll handle it. It's all right. Release the Negan cut. Oh my God!
All right, let's go back to talking about something of substance.
Good luck. Let's see. I don't know.
Das Boot. Let's go. Let's talk about that.
Favorite submarine movies for 20, Alex. Absolutely, man. Run Silent, Run Deep.
I prefer Hunt for Red October myself, but
sure. I like Run Silent, Run Deep with Clark Gable and Burt Lancaster and Don Rickles in a very small role, but he's in the movie as well.
Run Silent, Run Deep. Isn't that porn?
Exactly. They made a different one of that. Exactly. You went to the wrong theater.
Hey, Negan, just to clarify for everyone, the sound is so much better, but we're going to bust your balls the entire time.
So lie and say we still hear it, even though we don't.
You won't be the first, and you won't be the last. Today, even.
I love it. If you're just joining us,
Mighty Mike Negan. What the? See, I almost.
I'll swear. That's all right. I'll swear for both of us. Don't worry about
it. If you're just joining us, it's been 50 minutes of Johnny yelling at Mike Negan. We're about to
comic ship's reopening. Right, that's true. The Love Boat of Comics is reopening. I'm teasing Jeff.
Let's talk about comic shops reopening. That's a great topic of conversation.
They haven't. Not all of them have.
Not all of them have. That is true. But
right, Das Boobs. That's right on SCTV. I remember that quite well. I'm actually waiting a couple weeks because I have a store I know I want to talk to in Wisconsin, and I certainly want to talk to Brother Bear when he reopens. But I am curious to see how.
Now, let me warn you: if you're going to yell at Brother Bear like you did Mike, he's not going to.
Well, yeah, exactly. We'll see what kind of video Brother Bear shows up with. So far, they looked okay. I think on those Patreon videos you guys have been doing. Who have you talked to lately?
We talked to Adam Hughes and Allison Sohn last week. We're going to be talking to Mighty Mike Negan soon.
Nice.
We're going to be talking to. Yeah, it's true. If he gets his audio fixed.
I was going to say, fix your camera before then. Jesus Christ.
I think next week we have scheduled Mike Pellerito
Oh, nice.
and Nicholas Scott.
I'm sorry, the last one?
Nicholas Scott. We're going to be
Of course. Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh.
But we talked to Walter and Louis Simonson. We've talked to Philip Sablick. We've talked to Mark Wade. They've been fun conversations. Jamar Nichols, we just talked to.
The
So
Didio
yeah,
one.
they've been a lot of fun.
Yeah, the Didio one was great too.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're trying to give you a run for your money, but we're
Not at all.
making sure. No, we're trying to make sure our audio sucks. So.
Exactly. No. Plenty of room in the pool. I had Jim Rugg on live last night on Word Balloon, and he does that cartoon kayfabe, I think is what it's called. Him and Pisker. Him and Ed Pisker. Yeah.
Ed Pisker.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's an excellent show. And no, I'm not threatened. I'm not threatened by good interviews with creators. That's we want more of that, please. And again,
Johnny,
with different people.
Don't you have one tonight too?
I do have one late tonight. Allison Baker, if I could go into my Tom Baker. But Allison Baker and Chris Robertson are going to be on. Another great comic book.
Oh, wow. I know them. Tell them I said, hey.
I will. Yeah, I was, again, up at 3 a.m. and Allison's like, hey, Chris and I'll come on. And I'm like, oh, sure, that'd be great. And I had a cancellation late. And I'm like, oh, Thursday opened up if you want to do it Thursday. They're like, we'll do it. So we're going to be on very, very late. I'm going to try and sneak in a nap in between this and talking to them because it's going to start at midnight your time, boys, Franco and Mike.
Nice. Oh, thank you very much, Jeff. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a fun talk with the Simonsons. So you should check it out. All the videos that we're doing are free on the Oh Yeah Comics Patreon. And Johnny is releasing select ones for the podcast, so you can listen to the audio versions of those.
Yep.
But if you want to see the videos, they're on the Oh Yeah Comics Patreon.
Well, and I just did that to get more awareness because I think, and I'm even throwing them on the Word Balloon feed as well, because I want people to go and, support the Patreon. So yeah, on those episodes of Word Balloon, there are no other ads other than the pre-roll ads that Spreaker puts on, and it's all about supporting Oh Yeah Comics in Harrison and that kind of proceed deal type thing of that nature.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Does this shirt look bad? What?
I will die laughing if next week Negan shows up with a ceiling fan above him.
He's going to do that. He's going to put more windows in that room just to piss me off. And, I did love the window on fire effect with whatever virtual idiot thing you had. Now, finally, whatever half-like radiation that was going on in your room seems to have subsided. So, congratulations. If you wrapped your ass in tinfoil, if that's what did it, I have no idea.
Not my ass.
Next week is going to be broadcasting from a greenhouse.
Next week, I will broadcast from the sun.
That's like, remember Ali G when he was, I forget, he was talking to Neil Armstrong, or he was talking to Buzz Aldrin, and he's like, so man has been on the moon. Yes. He's like, has man been on the sun? And he goes, no, the sun's too hot. And he goes, well, sure, this time of year, but can they go in the winter when it's colder?
I love Ollie G. He can't do it anymore because everybody recognizes him, right?
Yeah.
I think he called him Buzz Lightyear in that video.
Yes, he did. Talk to my man, Buzz Lightyear. The best is when he was on with the former UN Secretary General Boutros Ghali, and he gave him an extra Boutros. He's like, my man, Boutros Ghali. And he asked him how to say crap but of course the S word although I've already dropped F-bombs, but yeah, in French. And he told him, he's like, merde. And he goes, wait, let me write that down. And he goes, so how many countries are in the UN? He's like, about 180, 185. And he goes, is Disneyland in the UN? And they're like, well, no, Disneyland is not. It's not a country. Well, could Disneyland get their shit together, or could Disney World be part of the UN? And he's like, no.
Well, Epcot would certainly count, wouldn't it? I would think.
Maybe. Yeah.
Multiple countries. That's a deal itself.
When he went to Trump, and Trump is like not interested in playing along whatsoever. All right, that's really it. Goodbye, guys. We're done. Goodbye. Shut him down. It was very, very funny. And Andy Rooney hated him too. Andy Rooney was really pissed at him. Made me laugh. Ever notice why I have to talk to fake hip hop guys? Nobody remembers who had him. Do you remember Andy Rooney as Coke?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Well,
Yeah.
Mike, I know you do.
Eyebrows.
You're old. I'm asking
Eyebrows.
Skoke if he knows.
No.
We're old. See, there you
No.
go.
I recognize the name, but does he have like really wiry white eyebrows? Or
Oh,
at
yeah.
some point did he?
Yeah.
Okay,
watching the
so
video.
maybe I do.
He was
maybe I am aware.
He was a World War II correspondent for the Army's newspaper, Stars and Stripes. So yeah, he was, and then he became this very funny, humorous commentator at the end of 60 Minutes. And now Andy Rooney with a thought on inflation. Ever notice how prices are going up? Every time I turn around, pencils are now 5 cents a gross. When did that happen? And it really was like old man yells at cloud, kind of like, things that pissed him off. I used to have a Rolodex. It was nice. All this paper. Everyone's number was really handy. Now I'm supposed to have it in my phone. I don't get it. And it's like, well, yeah, thank you. Yes, he's 98 years old and still commentating. It's Andy Rooney, everybody.
He's still on every Sunday, right, Johnny?
He's dead now, sir.
Oh.
No, sir. It's like the Blues Brothers. No, sir. Mayor Daley doesn't dine here anymore. He's dead, sir. Sad.
Going back to we were talking about astronauts. There's going to be a launch soon, right? In a couple of days, there's going to be a
There was
launch.
supposed to be one yesterday, but
Space Force.
yeah.
I'm excited about that.
I am too, but I'm also like kind of freaked how much it's like the beginning of Why the Last Man. Remember that part of the story?
Yes.
Which was really cool, but now it's like, nah. And also that, and also Turner Classic Movies has been showing Edward G. Robinson movies, and Edward G's last movie was Soylent Green. And yes, I know Soylent Green is people. What? Wait, because my point is, everyone knows the line, and it's like, yeah, but have you seen the movie? Well, why should I? I know Soylent Green's people. It's like you are missing a fantastic suspense movie with Charlton Heston, my God. But also, it's scary. It's from 2022, and really, overpopulation, meat shortage, all these things that we're kind of sniffing around right now during this period, and it takes place 2 years from now still, and it is very prescient.
So it can still happen, is what you're saying.
Yes, and it does kind of scare me.
You might have a problem with meat shortage, Johnny. I've never had that problem.
No, didn't you hear like the different meat processing, like Wendy's and stuff like that? Yeah, again, cheap laugh there, Jimmy. Give us another pun, Bazooka Joe.
Speaking of Space Force, have you seen these astronauts? Have you seen their new spacesuits?
No.
They look really weird.
Are they the SpaceX suits or the Space Force suits?
The SpaceX suits.
Go on.
Can you Google and share?
You can. I'm not going to. I got my hands full here. But
you're running a lot right now. I understand. That's what happens when you run the chat. It's hard.
But it's they're. I'm used to the clunky astronaut-looking suits, and these things look very svelte, but also very uniformy, like almost like if you're in a radiation suit type thing.
I'm grabbing something, and I'll be right back. Speaking of spacesuits,
they look like the costumes worn by Daft Punk for the kids out there.
I love Daft Punk.
All right, I'm going to share.
Sure. Yeah, we'll stop talking. Right, show us the picture, Mike.
I'm trying to.
Are you sure? Are we sharing your computer? Or are we sharing your screen?
My screen. I'm trying.
Don't turn on any lights or anything or sounds.
Space Force.
No, it's not working. Hold on.
I don't know if you can see this.
Same screen. That's why. Hold on.
Put it
While
back
you're
up, Johnny.
Yeah, this is the commemorative Hot Wheels action pack that focused on the space shuttle when John Glenn was going to go back in space. And so that red suit is your classic space shuttle astronaut suit.
The little red guy is what the suits look like now. Yeah, here we go. Ooh, sorry.
Here we go.
This
Is
is
that
what the
Gene
suits look
Hackman?
like. No, it's not. Those are the guys.
That looks like Gene Hackman.
Ooh, did I lose Johnny? I lost Johnny. Here we go.
I'm here.
He's back in.
Yeah, they are odd looking. They're not you would expect them to die in those spacesuits.
Yeah. But I guess
They're not heavy
technology,
pressurized. Yeah,
technology from when we were kids, I guess, has changed everything.
I guess.
That's
So look
good.
at those guys. They look
Now they're more
kind of,
comfortable.
but they look more like the radiation, like we're coming to kill you type thing. I would
Just
say.
wait though. Let's see what happens when they get into space with those suits on. Let's see how well they work.
Exactly. When they're
I
out
I
of their
look-
head.
I
They
look
do.
forward.
They do
Yeah.
look like first contact spacesuits. They do.
They could back in the old days, the big bulky suits just like could be. I just crapped my pants, and then you wouldn't know. But now I think with the smaller ones, now I'd be like, oh, I think that'd be a little less comfortable. So
Well, you'd be able to tell when
exactly,
they crap their pants.
a little brown.
Why does he have a brown spot on his spacesuit?
Exactly. There's a. Oh, I won't say it actually. I was going to tell a very famous creator story about a creator that was in a very nice suit and didn't realize that he had had an accident during a
boy.
I
transcontinental
think I
flight.
know that story.
I was going to say it's made the rounds. Brian Talbot told me that story. The Luther Arkwright creator. He wrote a very funny book with a lot of convention story anecdotes that had made the rounds, and that was the first one I asked him about. He goes, "Oh no, that's true." I'm like, okay.
Oh, no.
Now I want to know this off the air now.
We're back. Again, the Geiger Counter Convention has reconvened at Casa Negan, and now they are searching the backyard for uranium. So that's great.
Uranus.
Oh, it's funny stuff. How about Stargirl? Have you guys seen Stargirl at all?
Yes. No, really, Mike?
Haven't had a chance to. It's on my to-do list.
It's incredible. And Negan, I was going to say, Negan and I, Jeff Johnson and I have been recording episode recaps, and I released the first one. I released the Kraken on Tuesday, right after it finished airing, and it was interesting. And Franco, I know I was telling you about this. There's a feature where you can, for a YouTube video, actually set a premiere time, and it will just start automatically playing when you set it up. But in addition to whatever is on your video, it includes like a 90-second countdown after the top of the hour, and then starts playing your video. And
That's
I was
cool.
gonna just kind of play it and then do some late grocery shopping before the stores close. But I'm like, nah, I got everything in the house. I'm like, something, I want to see if people actually respond. And all these people were coming in and participating in the chat. So
Oh wow!
I actually, was able to talk to the people watching as they were watching it, and it was nice, and I appreciated the fact that so many people were watching it live.
But you could do that because you're not streaming them live, right?
Right.
Oh, okay.
So it was much. I mean, yeah. Honestly, Jim Rugg, he and I were talking last night, I would pop in questions like we do, and from the audience, and he's like, "God, I can't believe you can do that." And I'm like, "Well, that's like kind of my old radio job when I used to be a DJ and run my own board and play songs and commercials and talk and answer the phone and everything." So I'm like, it's not that it's I can kind of do it. I'm not perfect, but it's hard, and that's what I was saying. Like for Franco to pull up the picture, Mike, I'm glad you were able to do it because Franco, Franco's running the chat. It's tough.
You know what I always find, because I've been doing a lot of stuff for Repop.
Yeah.
What I always find difficult, and Johnny, I don't know if you can attest to this as well, is you pop up one of those questions on the screen, but now you got to find a way to interject it into the conversation without it feeling rude by interrupting the person you're talking to. It's like, and this new book is coming. Hey, Bill, by the way, Joe from Schenectady has a question. It's like, you feel bad.
Well, yeah, you almost have to time it when they're done speaking. And then also the other thing is sometimes I would throw up comments that had nothing to do with what we were talking about or something referring to something that had already passed. And sometimes that would trip up the guest and he would start reading. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm so sorry. I don't want to do that. I'm just letting the chatters know, hey, we're paying attention to what you're doing. And no, it's a balance. And honestly, I've even been debating about doing as many live videos, and half the videos I did this week were pre-recorded and half were live. So I had a great conversation with the two heavy people behind heavy metal, the two leaders right now. And they're doing, you guys all from, I'm assuming Mike, maybe not for Skoke might 50-50 not be familiar with the heavy metal movie. Did you see it, Skoke?
I've heard of it, but not seen it.
Okay. There's a character.
There's a magazine too, right?
Yes, yes, it is a magazine.
Sorry, guys. I don't.
That's all right. That's all right. No,
Yeah.
and honestly, this is one of the problems that heavy metal actually has is for old school comic fans, we're all aware of it, but younger guys and women, they don't necessarily, not every
Well,
shop carries it. The
But
magazine.
in all fairness, Skoke, how many magazines do you buy?
0.
Yeah,
There you
but
go.
see, that's what I mean. Nowadays, nobody buys magazines. Like they
Right.
were everywhere, and you would go into Rite Aid or you would go into a drugstore or supermarket, and they had lines of magazines. They just don't have them anymore.
No, you're
in
right.
Manhattan, when I work in Manhattan, they just used to have stores dedicated to magazines, rows and rows of the most, popular and unique,
Obscure.
like about any topic, and that store was always packed.
Mm-hmm.
We had two. We had one in Evanston by Northwestern University, and it still exists. And then we have one in the city in Chicago by Six Corners, Skoke, by where Cicero, Milwaukee, and Irving all cross. And there's a great newsstand there. And yeah, they're amazing because not only do they have great domestic magazines, they have great international magazines and newspapers as well. So with that problem, heavy metal is still going to do the anthology, but it's going to come out monthly now, which is good. But also, they're taking a lot of their famous characters, like Tarna from the end of the heavy metal movie, and she's on the poster, Skoke. And she's a platinum-haired, kind of futuristic Barbarella, kind of barbarian warrior woman. Kind of a female John Carter in a lot of ways.
I think Pamela Anderson or Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, no, she's boobalicious, absolutely. Yeah, she's, you should watch. Honestly, Skoke, it's a great R-rated cartoon and a lot of interesting animation styles. The heavy metal movie.
What year would you say that came out?
82,
Yeah,
early
Okay.
80s. Yeah. So
back when we had magazines, because if we still had magazines today, Mike would be able to cover his window with some of them.
this is true. So and keep vampires away. Yes.
Speaking of heavy metal, didn't Tim Seeley have something to do with heavy metal, the magazine, at some
He
point?
was the editor in chief.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure. And to be honest, before I kept meaning to text him before I talked to him in terms of is he still or are these completely new guys? I wasn't sure. Their PR person is the guy who contacted me. And also they had been, they're working on the 300th issue, but also 299 I think 299 comes out this month. 300 comes out in August, but then also they're taking these characters and they're making monthly comics. Both an imprint called, ironically, Virus that was already set up before the pandemic, and then also and they're already these comics are already out, but they're doing stuff in heavy metal as well, and I think it's a very interesting idea.
I think Tim Seeley was spearing one of the offshoot magazines that they were doing that were going to be all comics, called Soft Wood or something like that.
Yeah, it was a humor comic. Yeah,
right.
And I know that. Yeah, exactly, like heavy metal, Soft Wood. So
yeah. I'm surprised that heavy metal has lasted as long as it has. The circulation on that title has got to be low.
Well, but again, it's interesting. Like 2000 AD, they rely on their subscription base is bigger than their actual getting in the direct market kind of thing. So, and you're right. I mean, the magazine's changed hands. Kevin Eastman used to run it. Right. He bought the magazine years ago. So
that
and also
says it has to be dwindling though. Those are guys our age and older.
But they're great. I mean, it's a great look at global comics. I mean, it's really like a great way to be exposed to international sci-fi and fantasy comic books. I mean, that's where Mobius debuted for American audiences.
That's that was the only way.
I still have I tore out a comic book page out of heavy metal that was by Frank Miller, written by someone else, but it was a reinterpretation of Julius Caesar, and it was Julius Caesar Detective Agency. And you see a door open, and it's all done like in that Frank Miller, noir style. Okay. And then there's a whole bunch of gunshots, and then the last and all the panels are blank except the first one where the door opens. A whole bunch of gunshots, and then the last panel is "You too, Brutus." So it was funny, and I had that hanging in my classroom, and kids are like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Well, first of all, it's Shakespeare, and second of all, it's Frank Miller." They don't know either one of those things.
You know, he's a big heavy metal fan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. When I talked to him, he even said, pointing out Franco once again was right.
That's right.
When Jabbar was writing his Mycroft Holmes books, he was at San Diego and professed to be this huge comic book fan, and I believed him. So when Titan was releasing the graphic novel that he wrote about Mycroft Holmes, a different story, it wasn't an adaptation of his novel. I'm like, I really want to talk to Kareem, and they're like, "Oh, we can make that happen." I'm like, "That's amazing." And his PR, I'm sure I've told this story before, but his PR people are like, "Hey, we just want to know. We're not, dictating what you can and can't ask. Kareem, can you just give us some subjects because we just want to let him know what you want to talk about." And I'm like, I want to talk about him being a nerd. He says he's a self-professed nerd, that he's been buying comics since he was 5 years old. I want to hear all about that, where he bought them, what their favorite titles are. And I'm like,
Johnny wants to check up on him because if he's wrong, then he wants to yell at him.
I was going to yell at him like I do with Negan. Absolutely. What's with the lights, Kareem?
I thought you were a nerd.
Mr. Jabbar, sir.
You don't know who Spider-Man is?
Or is it Lou Alcindor I'm speaking to? Your secret identity. So it was great. And no, he was absolutely into it. And he said, I'm a big heavy metal reader. When I played for the Lakers, I would literally have my magazines in the locker room, and the Lakers would, the other Lakers would make fun of me. I'm like, who's making fun of you? First of all, and secondly, I'm like, that's fantastic. And he goes, "Oh no, I still read them." And in fact, I told the guys, I'm like, you guys got to get Kareem to write like a 10-page story for the magazine because I'm sure he's a
Did you tell him that?
Yes, in the interview. Absolutely, I did. I'm like, guys, you better get it. And it's so funny because then off the air, the president of heavy metal, he's like, actually, I've got a lot of contacts with the Lakers. I think I can make that happen. I'm like, run, man. Do it. Yeah. That would be great. I love, honestly, man, and forgive me, folks, I swear, I don't mean to sound like I'm bragging, but when I just go, hey, you ought to do that. And then they do, like Zdarsky did that. Chip did it in Invaders where Namor went rogue and, was the bad guy in the story. And it was really cool. And obviously, it's the Invaders. So all of his World War II buddies, the original Human Torch, Cap and Bucky, are trying to talk Namor down of whatever he's suffering and why he's acting crazy. And so just innocently, I'm like, hey, what does Sue Storm think of all this? Because, they have that great relationship and everything if you go deep on your Fantastic Four history and stuff. Namor's got it bad for Sue Storm. And it's like, and he goes, I don't know. That's a really interesting idea. And it was midway through the story. And near the end of the story, there's Sue Storm. And he goes, I wouldn't have done that if you hadn't thought of it. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. That's really nice. So
that's cool.
I want to go back to who's making fun of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's like 8'30", and he was like studying martial arts with Bruce Lee. Why
Bruce Lee,
that guy?
All true. What
were you going to say, Skook?
I was going to say with Johnny's powers of influence, I mean, maybe at some point you might drop a hint about a Don Knotts, Adventures of Don Knotts comic. That'd be
in heavy metal.
I mean,
what's with all these girls with big boobs?
It should be a continuation of the Ghost of Mr. Chicken, his Luther character. Attaboy,
that'd be amazing. I'd read that.
That is the best. That is the best. Would you agree, Skoke, that is the best Don Knotts movie? Ghost of Mr. Chicken.
I really like, Mr. Limpet.
I can appreciate that. That's a fair counter argument because that's a great animated movie.
Well, the thing that puts me over the edge with Mr. Limpet, why I say that over Ghost and Mr. Chicken, is because he sings a song in Mr. Limpet about really wanting to be a fish, and where he fantasizes about being a fish and what that life would be like. And that's really what tips the scale for me in favor of Mr. Limpet.
And the implied subtext that he's having sex with ladyfish.
Yeah.
Oh
my.
Limpet. Oh, ladyfish. Oh.
Yeah, and he says her name a lot in that. Ladyfish. Oh, ladyfish.
And I like the crab. Flatbush. Let me tell you something, Flatbush. And they get ready for war, and the crab changes his shell. And he takes like a coffee cup, and that's his armor. That's his uniform or whatever. I'm ready for you, Flatbush.
Why is Disney not remaking any of these? What's happening?
Is that a Disney movie? I wonder who made that.
It doesn't matter. They should just do it.
A reboot.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just going to say quickly, there were, I'm thinking about comic Adventures of Don Knotts. I remember them. I've seen The Adventures of Bob Hope. There was a comic of that, Adventures of Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. I think there was a Don Rickles one too, but I'm not totally sure. Was there?
Everyone's nodding because actually what happened was that was in the pages of Jimmy Olsen, and Jack Kirby actually drew Don Rickles and Don Rickles' nice cousin Goody Rickles. And there's that awesome cover of Superman and the Guardian holding a big giant picture, and it's a picture of Don Knotts. It's like one of the greatest 70s Superman covers ever. And again, Jimmy Olsen, really. But but no, you're right. Neil Adams, I know for a fact, drew the Jerry Lewis comic book because it started as a Martin and Lewis comic, continued as a Jerry Lewis solo comic. And Neil loved drawing it because he could just crank out pages. And obviously with the page rate and stuff like that, he's like, I was making a hell of a lot more money doing Jerry Lewis comic books than I was doing the superhero stuff. And yeah, Bob Hope's comic is really weird too, because he had a character, a superhero parody character. And it was really like that weird late 60s like period of Bob Hope shitty movies, frankly. Hey, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? This movie, I'm trying to have sex with Elkie Summer. I know she's 40 years younger than me, but what the hell? Stuff like that. So now I want to look it up.
You brought up Bob Hope, and remember I was telling you about the dream about Madonna. I don't know, maybe you brought it up the other night about Bob Hope being on when we were talking about Freddie Prinze and stuff like that. I had a dream the other night that Bob Hope was my bus driver.
Hey, next stop, Flatbush, everybody. How you doing there, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah, and this is absolutely true. I couldn't figure out why, but I think it was because you were talking about him being on the Tonight Show with Freddie Prinze.
When he hosted,
and it popped into those are the kind of dreams I have. I don't have like stress ones where I'm in a Zoom call and can't get out of it or anything. I have like weird ones where like Bob Hope is my bus driver.
That's awesome.
Or you're in a dumpster with Madonna.
Hot.
Yeah, but that was awesome. I'll tell you what really happened in the dream when we're off the air, but it was a good dream.
Franco, how do we get into your dreams? Is that possible?
Well, you have to get out of my car.
Damn it, you beat me to it.
Wait, what did I say? What is that?
There's a song, there's a Billy Ocean song from the 80s called Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car.
Yeah.
Get out of my dreams.
Get into my car.
Didn't they do that on Family Guy?
Probably.
I think the Back to the Future parody had the Billy Ocean Get Out of My Dreams. Or there was like some prom scene. Maybe Peter goes to Meg's school and he becomes the cool kid. And he's doing a big dance to get out of my dreams, get into my car. Billy Ocean.
I'm sorry, I set you off.
Billy Ocean, my God. And then he did the song that was it in the first Romancing the Stone or the second Romancing the Stone? The Going Gets Tough, the Tough Get Going.
Going gets tough. Going gets tough.
Well, originally Eddie Grant did the Romancing the Stone.
Romancing the Stone. Yes, I remember.
Yeah, and then they didn't use it.
John Wilder?
It's not a good song. John Wilder, exactly.
John Wilder. Well, I love that.
I read your book.
I love that and Electric Avenue.
Down in the street there is silence. It's a very angry song.
Yeah,
but I'm not really
very
sure what the
upbeat.
politics are. I'm very confused by that song.
So like
I'm
Dr.
supposed to
Zayas
make fun of-
things there.
I'm supposed to make fun of Johnny for a song.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was telling you. Franco and I were talking last night, and I go, by the way, and it's hilarious. I got my Kindle near me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, by the way, do you know the song, Just a Song Before I Go by Crosby, Stills, and Nash? And all of a sudden, Alexa kicks in, playing Just a Song Before I Go by Crosby, Stills, and Nash. So then I was just doing Name That Tune with Alexa, and I'm like, I'm surprised it's not popping on right now. It must be in the other room. And I'm like, hey, Alexa, play... and I kept thinking of obscure 80s schlogs. And the way I make fun of Franco with Who's Zooming Who, which I think is the absolute worst Aretha Franklin song, where she should just be sitting, farting out this song. It is so annoying. I hate that song.
She's got great vocal range in that song, Johnny.
She's not even trying in that song. She's not even, I mean, I'll even give her a pass on Freeway of Love because it's just kind of an homage to just her style. But Who's Zooming Who is just... It's horrible. But so my guilty pleasure song. Do you like that song, Megan? Excuse me.
No, I just say zoom. Who's zooming? Who is our theme song now?
I was yes, you're right. That's yes, indeed. That should be the theme song of my nightmare.
Johnny.
Who?
See?
So yeah, the politics are you go down to electric hair and then you take it higher. That's true.
He's angry.
So
I call that the Johnny song because he's angry throughout and then just gets angrier.
So then I with Alexa I go, hey Alexa, play Shattered Dreams by Johnny Hates Jazz.
That's what it was. Shattered Dreams. Shattered Dreams. Shattered Dreams.
It's a terrible song, but I'll admit it. I love that song. So much for your promises. By the day you let me go. Just a horror. I will totally karaoke that song at some point. I promise.
You know what my guilty pleasure song is? I play it for my kids all the time. They groan every time. Easy Money by Billy Joel.
Okay.
The song
from Rodney's movie.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Hey, how are you? I love that movie. That entire movie is outstanding.
Bush, Angela Bush.
And it's so funny because I always used to like at the beginning of the movie, they go, him and Pesci and their buddies, they go to the harness races, and I'm always like, the harness races are such BS, and they show how they're trying to fix the harness race. The guy is literally and he's doing a Fred Flintstone where he's got his feet skidding to make the harness buggy like slow down and stuff. Hey, what the hell's happening there? I love that movie.
In the kitchen, clean that up.
I love Back to School too. Never forget, son. You're a melon.
Oh, that's the best.
Triple A.
Hey, you ought to come to our stores. Tall and fat. No offense to the lady. She's wearing a big green dress. That thing had more pockets. You'd be a pool table.
Another guilty pleasure song out of that Dead Man's Party, Oingo Boingo.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
they're fantastic in that movie. It's a great.
And you know who Oingo Boingo guy is, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
I do. May I answer that?
Yes.
Danny Elfman.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Danny Elfman.
That's right. That's another good joke in Family Guy when they do the Star Wars movies, and John Williams is burnt to a crisp like Uncle Owen's farm, and he goes, "Now we got to have the rest of the movie scored by Danny Elfman." And they play like Pee Wee's Big Adventure music all of a sudden. It's very fun. All the free, yes, indeed, I agree, Murray. All the free home videos that the musicians are doing is one of the best things about the pandemic. I agree.
I did one of those.
Did you? What'd you say?
I did a home video. I did one as Justin Timberlake. I was promoting the movie Trolls World Tour when that came out.
Why?
So I played a song. To whom? To the world, of course.
Okay. Were you paid for this, or was this just your own initiative?
No, it was my own initiative because I figured they could probably use my help because they need it to promote that movie that Justin Timberlake is in.
I'm hearing mixed things about Scoob. Speaking of directive video,
So bad.
Yeah, I think you were saying that the other night, Nick.
Yep, it was awful.
I'm sorry about that.
I'm gonna watch it now anyway.
No. Well, do you have any items to show and tell tonight, Skoke?
Here's the thing, Kevin. Skoke is running out of things, weird items. I've shown a lot of them on this program, but that's a weird item. I bet that was a gift.
I don't know where. Believe it or not, I was throwing all of these out. I am throwing all these out. And when you mentioned Planet of the Apes, then I literally dug them out of the construction bag that I'm cleaning stuff out.
We're gonna have to make a plea to the audience to send Skoke some items.
Yeah, please
so
send more crap to Skoke. We're big fans of all your crap. Terrible.
I love it. Yeah, I'd say a good 95% of those items I've shown on the show were gifts. They were things that people gave to me.
I thought it was all from the same people, actually.
Yeah, there were a few. There were a few different friends. What do we have here? What's that?
Is that a robot or is it?
I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
It is a robot of some sort. There we go.
A robot.
Baron Karza.
From
Baron Karza.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know.
Hey, hold on.
See, when the Micronauts came out, I was trying to get laid, so I really wasn't buying the toy. It's like, at that point, I was into seriously like Thundercats, Transformers, all that crap. I missed it because those were my high school years, and I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to get laid. All right.
This is my original one from when I was a kid. It sits on my desk.
Awesome. No time for love, Dr. Jones.
You call him Dr. Jones, lady.
Doll.
Doll.
Good stuff. Short round. Oh,
True.
man. Who was, again, I love my YouTube buddy, Rob Burnett, and he's totally a nerd. And it's so great because he's an uber nerd. He really hates Last Crusade.
Why?
What?
I know. Well, he just thinks it's a parody of Indiana Jones stories, and it's too
Only
funny.
the penitent man will pass.
I am hip. And I thought, and I mean, I agree, there is more humor than any of the other Indiana Jones movies, I think, in Last Crusade, but I think it's funny. No ticket. Oh, you can advantage, you know, when they're on the Zeppelin.
Or
Kevin
Talk to me.
Bixby asked Mike, "Are those Migos in the background?" No, that's a Jeff Goldblum pillow.
That's,
Imagine a Jeff Goldblum Migo. That would be awesome. Have already.
Oh,
I bet Artie's
no,
buddies
those
are
are not-
making a sculpt right now of a Jeff Goldblum Migo.
Those are not Migos. They are Tweeterhead superpowers statues. I collect statues. So there's Batman, Superman, Linda Carter, Wonder Woman. I don't know if you can see. There's Adam West, Burt Ward, Batman,
Nice.
66.
Let's go. Let's go large.
Yeah, there you go.
There's the Joker.
There's a window.
There's a window. Hold on. I don't know if you can see it. I gotta move to the right direction. There's hold on, where is it? Catwoman. There's
Get
my
motion sick.
There's a Catwoman. Tweeterhead. I cannot recommend Tweeterhead enough. They're doing a line of superpower statues, classic versions, Garcia Lopez versions of all of the DC superheroes. Excellent stuff.
You shouldn't have told me that. No.
I'm gonna grab water. I'll be right back. Keep going.
They're doing a Dark Side. They're doing a classic Cheetah. They're doing what else? Green Lantern's coming out. They're doing a Calabac. Not Calabac. Sorry, Desaad. Oh, maybe one of those. One of the new gods. But they're beautiful. They're gorgeous. That Batman statue, you can't see it real close up, but it's probably the best. And I have like 20 Batman statues. It's probably the best rendition I've ever seen.
Wow.
what is the company?
Linda Carter, Tweeterhead. They're doing a really cool Linda Carter Wonder Woman, which they already did one. They did this. They did this version. Hold on, I'll get you a little close up action. They did this version right here.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
From season 2 of Wonder Woman. They're doing a season 1 Wonder Woman, and it's her. It's like her in a static pose, but she's wearing the cape. It's beautiful, and she's got the little skirt instead of the trunks. Here, this is for you, Franco, right there.
Oh, wow.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful work. They did. You can't see it because they're all off to the side, but there's a Lee Merriweather Catwoman, not Lee Merriweather, Julie Newmar Catwoman, Cesar Romero Joker, Yvonne Craig Batgirl. Like, they do such amazing work. Highly recommended.
I'm going to take your word for it.
If you don't want to put your kids through college, buy all of them. Oh wait, did I do that to my son?
I think you might have.
I think I might have.
He's going to have to live under your desk now.
It's okay. He can live in the submarine.
So, Skoke, what have you been doing during these?
A Negan submarine.
Don't start talking about submarines. Johnny will get mad at you.
I know.
Yeah, he gets pissed real easy.
A Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, which
Where?
is out of the room. I can't show you, but
Oh, man.
I'll go get it for you.
You might have to. I want to
Do
see
it.
this.
Let's see it.
This is my show and tell. I'll get it. Hold on.
Stuff is moving. You'll see it.
So I gotta move my computer again.
Oh,
Let's go.
there's a
What do you-
light. Johnny
Oh,
would
there's a
love
light
this.
right in the way.
Yeah, he'd love that.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
do
it was
love
gonna
it.
be gone
by the way.
longer.
It's great.
No, it's right here.
I thought you had to go further away for that.
No. How cool is that?
That's pretty good.
Show us the other side.
Yeah,
I know.
the other
There you
side.
go.
Wow.
Nice.
Look, and it's like really super accurate. It's got the taser gun, like that right there on her leg. You see it?
I like
Yeah,
how
what's that
the
above?
computer.
It is
the
super
monitor-
accurate. I've seen her butt in person. That is very accurate. You're right.
It's a great piece. Tweeterhead, highly recommended. Go out and buy all their stuff. You know what they did for Johnny that you would really love? Johnny, you're back. They're
I'm
very
on.
now on the secondary market, but they did Munster statues.
Hilarious. Ho, ho, ho.
And it makes a whole scene of them sitting in the living room. So Butch Patrick sitting on the floor with Wolfie. There's the clock, and coming out of the clock is what's his name? Spot's tail.
From underneath the stairs, yeah.
Marilyn from underneath the stairs. Marilyn's holding a big, like dog collar with spikes.
Is it Beverly, whatever her name is, first season Marilyn, or is it Pat Priest Marilyn?
Pat Priest.
Pat Priest.
The real Marilyn.
Oh, they're both real Marilyns.
No,
Not
they only
today.
have the one.
I don't know. I had no problem with Marilyn #1, actually. Isn't it interesting? Second Marilyn is the real Marilyn. I will agree with you, gentlemen. But that said, Dick Sargent, second Darren.
Sorry.
Know? So, nice.
He's
Dick
not your
Sargent.
second
Is that an Army joke, Dick Sargent?
Yeah. I like both Dick York and Dick Sargent.
Yeah, I suppose.
Ecstatic versus. Oh, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that.
That's my Dick Sargent. Sam, as opposed to Sam. Dick York Sargent. Boy, and I think we've talked about this before. You know why Dick York had to quit Bewitched?
Because he hurt his penis.
He had serious back problems. Yeah, really. Yeah, exactly, Scope. Yeah. You're right. And literally, that last season he's on, especially like near the end of the season, when he is on camera, he's usually sitting down and not moving much. And it's really, really sad. And there's a ton of episodes that season where, Darren's on a business trip, and it's all just, Elizabeth Montgomery solo.
And when he's on camera, like a good percentage of the time, he's sitting. Like there's not a lot of that.
I think I just said that exact thing, blind man.
All right, you know what?
I understand because you've got Geiger counters going on in your room, so you couldn't.
It's getting a little testy in here, so we'll be.
By the way, also another point about Bewitched: when Dick York was on in that last season, mostly sitting down. I don't know if people knew that.
Yeah. We'll be right back right after this message.
He's so angry.
Uh-oh. Look who's here. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
There he is.
Oh, that's what's scary?
Podcast.
I thought your back was to us initially.
I'm the only one that represents the podcast appropriately.
Thank God you're here, because seriously,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's true. And that piss jug that he's drinking. That's
piss jug.
I'm wearing my thong. What are you talking about?
Okay, I take that back. Johnny's the only one that's not representing.
Hey, Johnny, Scoot's here. Start yelling at him.
My
Johnny's
friend.
in a mood tonight?
A little bit.
Everybody's eating. No, it's everybody. Nobody. Negan was killing vampires at the start of the show, and now is killing bats with his room noise. He had to, so anyway. It was worse than Scoot's shop. When he's remodeling his basement when he's talking to us.
That became legendary, so we'll see.
I'm going to start throwing VHS tape at you.
You'll notice every time Negan talks, you're going to hear a little room noise in the background there, Scoot. It's better, but it was really bad earlier.
It's a Roomba. He's got
Johnny
Roomba
hates
going.
Noise.
Johnny hates jazz and noise.
But he loves Promises. Promises. He loves that song.
He's a big.
Not to be confused with Naked Eyes. Promises. Promises.
Wait, can we pause for a second? Skoke, did you change your shirt?
No, it's the same.
No.
During the
And
commercial
by the
break.
way, if you didn't notice this at the end of Dick York's run on Bewitched, mostly sitting down. I'm just saying. I seriously, man, you're like in another time warp. I don't know what's happening right now. Good Lord, you're in the Phantom Zone. You know, General Zod's playing with his PlayStation, so it's causing audio problems. He's throwing VCRs at me. So I'm not saying I know. Boy, Negan hates me now. I swear to God. He's gonna text me.
Johnny, I love you. You know that.
I know you do. You're good. Seriously, Mike. God bless you, son. You're taking a lot of my grief tonight. So, and you know I love you. It's hilarious.
I love it, yeah.
Oh my God.
I like quarantine Johnny. He's angrier than regular Johnny.
Angry Yoko chips.
I better leave before he gets pissed at me.
No,
Hey,
you're
Scoot,
doing
I
this.
saw online, somebody like posted a picture of you and was like, "Look, C-3PO's in the background," and you had like your mask somewhere in the background on a Darth Vader or something.
Oh yeah, I did a virtual Comic-Con this past weekend, and I decked my room out like I was at a Comic-Con. And I
Right.
decorated Kendra's mannequin back there. I put a Darth Vader helmet on it. I put a black sheet over it, and then I put the 3PO mask on Darth Vader, and someone spotted it that watches the Oh Yeah podcast.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And who was interviewing you during that?
A local radio
Giant.
personality named Peapod.
Oh,
Peapod,
My friend
everybody.
Peapod. Yeah.
That's cool.
And then
Hey,
Dave Scheid jumped in for as a special guest.
I saw that. That was awesome. Also, the guy that was hosting before Peapod,
Kyle. Yeah.
he broke in with important news. Listen, the Orville, it's not on Hulu anymore. It's going to be on NBC. And I'm like, what? And so I'm like, okay, whatever. So I look online.
Oh yeah,
No.
Johnny and I were arguing about that.
We weren't arguing. We were in agreement.
Oh,
We're
we were
like,
discussing.
we're like, I don't know where Kyle got his information from, but that's not right. And it's again, whatever. You're like, okay, we'll roll with it.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Listen, guys. By the way, like he had to interrupt with like important news that the Orville was on.
Johnny, maybe you should get a job as a social media fact checker.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Well, you can go on all the other podcasts and interviews and talk about when there's too much noise or not enough noise. That'd be
Hey, I won't name names, but there is a podcast that they were very, here's Mr. Know-It-All, in terms of like that they really like thought they knew their comic book history. And I'm like, yeah, that's not right. Or they would like be hypercritical of older creators that were making stuff now. And I'm like, wow, you guys like pretend to be so reverential to Golden Age artists and Silver Age creators and how great they are and stuff. And here's a guy that is still active. I won't name names as far as who the creator is. And like, man, his stuff is horrible now. It's nowhere near how good it was in the 70s. And I'm like, literally, like 50 years ago, I'm like, hey, let's see you run against a 50-yard dash against your 50, because one of these guys is in his 50s. I'm like, yeah, let's see your 18-year-old self and you now run a 50-yard dash and see how good you do.
There is very few creators who are in their twilight years who are drawing like they did in their prime.
Of course.
Who in their twilight years is living their life like they were in their prime? Like, come on, that's a ridiculous statement.
Yeah, even exactly, Franco.
How you're drawing at 70, Franco?
Well,
I am
honestly, I'm impressed. Like when Walt Simonson came back and did that Avengers arc with Bendis, and he literally was just like, I just want to see if I can do the monthly, deadline again, and see if I can still do it. Because he takes his time now, and appropriately so.
Walt and Garcia Lopez, like
Sure.
those guys are few and far between. And
Garcia Lopez would always pick and choose. He's been famous or was famous or is famous for picking and choosing projects where he gets time off because he's like, life is here to enjoy life. So yeah.
Well, or even Kirby's those superpowers comics that came near the end and stuff, or even the Hunger Dogs. And it's like, yeah, man, he's not the young man that he once was, and he can't crank out $4 a month like he used to be able to when he was younger.
Well, it's hard to draw when your pants are up to your armpits too.
Nice, the Fred Burtz effect.
that's because your belt chafes your nipples.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ross, does this look good? Yeah, you look great, Jack. All right, I think we're ready for the convention. Okay. Fred Mertz fans. I love that. Hello, Rick. I hope you don't mind. My belt's up by my nipples.
But dudes like that who don't have reverence for what came before, they shouldn't be speaking to the.
Well, but they're talking out of. That's my point. They're talking out of both sides of their mouth because then they'll be like, "Oh, Jerry Grandetti. what a genius. He's so overlooked, and so it's a crying shame. And it's like, yeah, whatever. And I mean, I'm like, yeah, that's true. But then oh man, I'll tell you, I saw that book the other day. Oh, he's not what he used to be. Or my favorite was they noticed that the background panel to panel was exactly the same, and they're like, oh look, he standing in the panel. What lazy drawing? And I'm like, really fascinating. Wow. Please tell me where. I'm like, it's deadline art. That is the point. It has to get done. So if they want to make it like a little, I would even call it a cheat, just like a convenience move.
Yeah.
I mean, God, I know Artie has told us that, obviously he had for Tiny Titans like virtual backgrounds, like kind of always there. So, okay, now we're in the Batcave. Now I'll use this background. Now we're in the clubhouse. We'll use this background. Stuff like that.
It's not, that monthly grind is not easy. And I've turned down a lot of books because of my day job. And, it's like, oh, what am I going to quit my day job to do, comics? Yeah, I could. But then the work isn't as steady. But it's that grind, man. You gotta hit that deadline. Scoot knows that too.
Yeah. Also, when you're doing those books, like there's certain pages where you can put more time in because you're going to stay on that page longer. And there's certain panels you're just going to read and breeze through. So you can you don't need to render every background in every panel because the reader's not even going to look at some panels. If it's two people talking, they're trying to get to that panel where they can enjoy it and look at it. So,
except that one guy who's going to say, you didn't do anything in this background.
Yeah.
And yeah, they really think they're experts and stuff. So that
scope.
I was like kind of going on their message boards and being like, hey, what the, you guys are being too mean. They're like, stop yelling at us. So I'm like, all right, I'll back up. So there you go.
Nice. All right.
Well, it's been fun, guys. It's been
it was
a good
great.
pod.
Yeah, thanks for. That's why he's the best in the business.
Skoke's about to say something.
No, I was just going to give a quick update. I mentioned on the pod before about how I narrated a book about how to get rid of hemorrhoids.
F-paced. Yeah.
Oh, yes, that is the solution apparently. But I hadn't heard from the author for about a year and a half, and suddenly I got an email from him the other day.
Oh, because we were talking about him?
Maybe he heard us talking, but it wasn't about that. It wasn't about the pod. It was he was telling me he has his next book ready to go, and he wants me to narrate it. And I started into it. It's about a diet, the raw vegan diet. And I've only had to say feces one time so far, but I'm hoping that as the book goes on, I might be able to get to say it a couple more times.
I was going to say, what are we sticking up our asses for this book? Yes,
exactly.
I'm poised. Yes, all right, I'm ready.
I thought you were going to say it was about vegan diet, and it slowly morphed into hemorrhoids again.
Exactly.
Well, hemorrhoids are going to be mentioned. I did a quick search when I got the manuscript. I did a quick search for hemorrhoids to see how much am I going to be talking about the paste again, and it's just he just briefly mentions hemorrhoids in this, and that eating this diet can help prevent that. Sure. But that's it. It was just brief. He doesn't really go into much about the hemorrhoids this time. He has a whole book about that.
Roid rage.
I can't wait.
Roid rage.
Yeah. That's what Johnny gets.
I'm not on roids though. I just get rage.
You don't need
rage.
I don't have hemorrhoid rage. No, I don't have roid rage.
You don't need to be.
Dad was a hemorrhoid sufferer. My father. So he would refer. It's too gross. I don't know if I should say it or not.
Do it.
He's like, the fingers are hurting me again. He's like, it's having fingers up your ass. I'm like, thanks, Dad. Great mental picture, Father. Thank you. Lovely. Seriously,
man. He pissed off Megan and he left.
Great. Yeah, obviously, exactly. He got disgusted. Great regrets, seriously, guys, that you didn't get to know my father. You guys would have loved him. He was hilarious. He was so funny. and truly, when I made my father laugh, I was like, that made my day, because he was a tough laugh. But we would just crack each other up and just have the best time, just laughing about stuff.
Did he
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to ask if he saw any of your or heard any of your radio days, but I don't think he did he?
No, he really didn't. I was a junior in high school. I mean, I did high school radio, and he did catch a little bit of that. So he knew I was heading in that direction, and that's why his sister's husband was a big television appliance salesman. So he was adjacent to media, and especially in the 70s and 60s when various innovations would happen, and they would have big, because he was like an RCA dealer and a Zenith dealer, so they would have like big trade shows where celebrities would come, and he really got into the fact that I was into radio. He was like the one hip relative that understood what I was trying to do, and he's like, "That's fantastic." And he's like, "Your dad would really be excited about what you're doing." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, Frank. You're a good man." So yeah, that's what are you gonna do?
Scoot,
what are you gonna do?
I interrupted you, Scoot. Were you gonna say something?
I was going to ask if your dad was a fan of the TV show MASH.
MASH. He did like the show MASH. So
If he had a favorite character, maybe, I don't know.
No. You know, my dad was really cool in the '60s when we were getting all the British import spy shows like The Saint with Roger Moore and The Avengers with Patrick Macnee and Diana Rigg. He loved those shows.
Chris Hemsworth, yeah.
Yeah, no, not those. Not those Avengers. That's like, every now and then you would see on like on Encore. Ooh, the Avengers movies. Oh, it's the Ray Fiennes, Uma Thurman crappy movie. Oh,
yeah.
So, which is a shame because that was a missed opportunity. They could have made a great movie of currently making fun of the Avengers. I mean, that Patrick Macnee, Diana Rigg show was a comedy. I mean, it was a very good comedy actually. So,
I'll be right back. I gotta try some chicken for Kendra that she made.
Good idea.
Man.
Harold's chicken?
Oh dear.
Yeah, Harold's chicken. I threw the 3PO mask in the background so someone next pod can see if they can find it back there.
It'll be a game. We'll play
the
that.
The mustache is coming back there. It looks like
Johnny's favorite.
Yeah.
Vote for Pedro. Honestly, any good COVID quotes of late, Scoot?
No, I guess people aren't quarantined anymore because I went to pick up some curbside pickup and at this restaurant we've been getting, and they have the tables out. People are out there eating, no masks on. It was like crazy. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole no mask thing. That's it's really kind of nuts.
No mask.
We'll see. Well, it'll be very interesting. I mean, hopefully they're right, and come fall, we won't have a second wave or sooner. I mean, whatever. I'm infuriated by my neighborhood. It used to be 1 in every 3 wouldn't have a mask, and now I would say 1 in every 3 do have masks. 2/3 now don't have masks. And
I'm not wearing a mask.
Yeah. I don't want to give you the satisfaction. I know. Idiot. And I'm going to shut down Twitter. Yeah. Good. Yeah, sure you are. It's like, again, he thinks he's king.
What's he going to do on the toilet if he shuts down Twitter?
I know. I'm going to bring back Tumblr and
MySpace.
Yeah, I'm going to bring back. He's going to talk to you, Justin Timberlake. He can bring back MySpace. He owns. Justin Timberlake bought MySpace and did nothing with it, unfortunately.
Good.
You should.
I heard about
As
that.
he should.
So
I get all the Justin Timberlake news.
You got that on your feed on your news feed.
Well, you get it by accident.
Isn't it a shame that now you can kind of program and also likely with cookies when you do go to a general news site, it is probably feeding you through algorithms what you want to read because one of my elderly uncles was always like he loved the newspaper. He's like, I learn more reading this every day. And this is literally in the 80s and the 90s when newspapers were still, thick. Real thick. Yeah, and he's just like, that's the great thing is I read the entire newspaper because I learn about things that I wouldn't normally look for. And that doesn't happen anymore now because, again, with you reading your news online, your algorithms are really dictating what kind of news you're getting.
They dictate.
How's my dictate?
Oh,
it's real thick.
Wow.
Whoa,
the kids are
Johnny.
asleep. Good thing the kids are in bed.
Wow.
I said nothing wrong there. That's just a word. The censors would have allowed that, not realizing.
Don't want Kendall to hear that.
That's right. She's making her chicken.
I got to try that chicken. Harold's.
Awesome.
Someone had to mention the word chicken since Art wasn't here. Where'd Megan go? Really?
He got pissed at Johnny. He's done.
Yeah, he's pissed at me because I made again. Like, don't run nuclear testing while you're podcasting, please. I'm sorry that's like alien. What?
Johnny, the kids love it, Johnny.
The kids, it's excellent, and the kids love it. Believe me.
It's just gonna get annoyed with you now.
Franco, what have you been up to? I haven't
Did he
been
text
on.
you? Is he really gone? Is that it?
Yeah,
Today?
he texted me. So he goes, "F Johnny, I'm never coming back on the show."
He did not say that.
He did.
No, he did.
Franco actually shared it with me. It's right here.
Yeah.
I've been back to Don Knotts. I've been catching some awesome. I knew that would get Skoke excited. Oh, he's back. Okay. I've been watching some great Andy Griffith reruns. Unbelievable. Like the one with, and I don't even know the actor's name, who plays Barney's cousin that like sucks at everything, and he's like, totally incompetent. And then at the they want like Barney gives him like the cell keys to polish, and he polishes them so hard that like they don't work anymore. They're like filed down and stuff, so they no longer work. And like it gets to the point where Barney's like, "You're just useless. You're no good at anything." And it really hurts the kid's feelings and stuff. And then the kid makes like an amazing cowboy carving for Opie, like almost like an action figure. It looks, but it's bigger. It's like bigger than a GI Joe. It's like a sideline statue big and stuff. And he's like, "Isn't that great? Virgil made that, Pa." And
Paw.
oh man, well you seem to have a talent here, Virgil. Maybe you're gonna be all right. That one and Barney's car when he buys the car from Grandma Walton. That's who plays the old lady that's like the con man. But when they're driving, I smell gas. and it just kind of goes around the room, and then finally Happy goes, "I smell gas too." That's exactly no, not that.
Smells like apple pie.
Gomer, hey, sorry about that. I had lunch at the diner. The deep fried chicken was even fried even more.
He's polishing his keys.
It was killing me, some of these episodes of Mayberry. Fantastic. They made so many, there was like 8 or 9 seasons, and back when they'd make like 30 or more episodes a year. So literally, like I know when TBS used to show Andy at like 5 days a week, you could go a year without hitting another rerun. You know what I mean?
Oh wow! I didn't realize there were that many.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then then it became Mayberry RFD, and that ran for like 3 or 4 years, and was still a top 20 show. But like in the early 70s, CBS killed all their rural comedies. So Mayberry went, Green Acres went, Beverly Hillbillies went, and in their place, that's when All in the Family and all the urban Mary Tyler Moore, all that stuff kind of happened.
Now, I can't believe Barney doesn't end up with Thelma Lou in the end. Like he's not. Well, they don't end up together, do they?
But in the reunion movie, they do.
Why would they?
You guys see, it's on.
Barney's an idiot.
That would be an excellent rewatch for us. Is Return to Mayberry, which I believe we can find on YouTube. I will search for it as we're talking to confirm that.
I've not seen this. What I can only assume is a classic film.
Even Ron Howard comes back for it, it's from the mid '80s. It's from the Matt era. Yeah, it's great, and no, everyone except Aunt B. I'm not coming back. Screw them.
I like that she's indignant about it. She's like, no.
Apparently was not a pleasant person while they were making the show. She was very difficult, and they're all like kind of, like judiciously like, well, Frances had her own ways, and that's okay. But Ron Howard on his Emmy Legends TV website, like for the Academy of Television, they do these great oral history video interviews. They're incredible. And Ron Howard did one. And he said years after the show ended, Aunt B went to North Carolina to live in retirement. And he went to her. She lived above a storefront in an apartment. And he went to visit her. And when he went to visit her, she wouldn't come. Like, he went to the door. They're like, "Oh no, she's not home." But he saw her in the window, and he's just like, "Okay, she wants her privacy." And he was bummed because he knew her. We're talking about Mayberry stuff, Negan.
I heard she was eaten by her cats. Like that's how
No, no,
she.
I know a real woman that actually, like a real Hollywood star that happened to.
Oh,
She was
man.
not eaten by her cats.
She was not eaten by her cats.
No,
You don't know that, Johnny.
That
I blame Gilbert Gottfried then because he
I
said she got
heard-
eaten by. Yeah. Oh, Frances Bobbier got eaten by her cats.
the very hot from the 50s, Yvette Vickers, who is in Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. She is not the 50-foot woman, but she is the hot little thing that the husband.
That's why the
loves
cats
her.
ate her, because she was the
Yep.
50-foot woman.
And she's in the giant Gila monster movie. And she's in Playboy and is spectacular. She's beautiful. Seriously, she was a knockout. She was on the horror circuit doing conventions until the end of her life. And then nobody had heard from her for weeks. And they went into her house and she was dead and the cats were eating the dead body. Yvette Vickers.
Well, there was 50 feet of her, so they
she was not
ate
the
for a
giant.
while.
She was
But
not the 50-foot woman. I got in here late.
Hey, Megan actually caught that one. That's good. That's good. And look, he switched his. Did you switch your angle or no?
I didn't switch anything.
Now the window's still there.
Connection to the internet.
Oh no! Believe me, we still hear the afterlife of the radiation happening. We're well aware of that. It's like you got Cylons humping in the background or whatever. That noise they would make when the eye would go back and forth.
Like
by your
what's her
command.
name? Trisha Helfer in the light going up and down her spine.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan of everything about Trisha Helfer.
Yeah, big fan. She was great in Lucifer too.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, she was excellent, and in Powers, she was great on Powers too.
Oh, that's right. She was in Powers.
She did the rounds on all
Nobody
the
saw that,
streaming
right?
shows and the basic cable shows. She was on Franklin and Bash, and she was, like a ton of shows. So, what was I looking up?
Saw that
again? I can't
'cause,
remember. I got my phone in my hand.
You were looking at Franklin and Bash.
No, I wasn't.
You're looking up the Good Cop with Tony Danza and Josh Groban.
Another guilty pleasure. I actually liked that show. Josh Groban clearly couldn't act. Tony Danza was being Tony Danza. Hey, is it okay if we name my character Tony? Because then I respond better if I know my name is Tony.
Have you guys, any of you guys ever met Tony Danza?
No, have you met Tony Danza?
I was this close. This close.
Doesn't count.
Didn't
Did you meet
happen.
him? Spoke?
No, I did have a conversation with Ray Romano about Tony Danza.
Hey, Tony Danza, let me tell you about him.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was not a good moment. It was here's what happened. I went to the Raymond show when it was still on. I had a friend who worked in the office of
What
of the show.
episode did you see? What episode did you see?
Ooh, I don't remember.
Go on.
I don't remember which episode. They were doing a rehearsal, so it was kind of like in pieces. It was hard to gather what was happening.
Okay.
But Ray Romano was there, and I was down on the actual set. In between one of the takes, he walked past me, and I thought to myself, I want to meet this guy. I want to say hello. So I did. I stopped him, and I said, Mr. Romano, hello. And he said, oh, and he came over. And the only thing that popped into my head was this question. I said, what do you think of Tony Danza as a rapper?
As a rapper?
As a rapper. Now, in my head, this made sense, but it didn't make sense to Raymond, and it probably wouldn't have made sense to anybody else in the world. But what I was thinking of was the People's Choice Awards had been on just a week previously, and Tony Danza hosted, and he did this bit where he came out as this rapper. He called himself Italian Ice. And Ray Romano was in the front row of the show and watching this all go on. And, he was talking to Tony Danza back and forth. So that's why I asked the question. But, Raymond, he had no idea what I was talking about. So he's looking at me. He's going, why would you ask that? And I'm like, and I tried to explain. I'm like, People's Choice Awards, and you were Tony Danza. And I was just like fumbling, and he's like, yeah, but why would you ask that? And I'm like, oh my God, what did I say? I just learned an important lesson. Like, think before you speak. Like, and finally he let me off the hook. He was really nice about it. He's like, well, my son is in love with Tony Danza's daughter. So, we're old friends. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He said they're old friends. And,
And then he went off stage and he goes, "This numb nuts out here just asked me about Tony Danza."
I'm going to need a break, Phil. I'm not going to be able to get back in character. I'm trying to wrap my head around Tony Danza as a rapper. Good thing the surface noise has gotten quieter. Obviously, I'm being lying about that. Can you literally mute your microphone? Because seriously, it's like you're not doing anything, and it's even louder. I couldn't hear Mike because of the story. I'm not kidding, Mike.
I think it's Scoot just messing with you at this point now.
I'm not doing anything. For the love of God.
Yeah, but again, you don't have earbuds, and so maybe you can't hear it, and that's probably part of the problem. But
you don't have earbuds in, do you? Oh, I'm sorry, you fancy wireless earbuds.
Well, again, I got my fat head, and the fat on my head is hiding the earbuds very, very covertly.
That's your hair, Johnny.
That too. I have not met Tony Danza, but I had a very good conversation with Ray Romano. It was remotely because CBS had bought the Westinghouse radio stations, and they wanted us all to promote all the CBS fall shows. And it was when Raymond was brand new, and he came on our morning show, and I was one of the hosts on the morning show back then. And it was great because he was like, I want, my character, he's a sports writer. I want to do what you guys do. And he couldn't have been sweeter. He's very kind. And Kevin James, I've just said this before, he actually was in a remote, like we were doing a remote somewhere, and he showed up and hung out for the day because he loves sports and stuff. And it was just like, could not have been nicer. Really funny, great stories. And just like, okay, we like this guy. We may not like his show, but we like this guy. The King of Queens kind of grew on me, especially after Jerry Stiller was on it. He was great. So, and Lou Ferrigno. Back to Lou Ferrigno.
And Oswalt, too.
I, too, met Ray Romano. Is that better for you? I Ray Romano.
That actually is helping. It might be that when you're closer to the microphone, it might cut out the room ambience. I'm not sure.
Maybe. I always try and have ambience wherever I go, Johnny. I too met Ray Romano, and I asked a question that made no sense, Skoke, so don't feel so bad.
What are you doing?
It was.
I just like it. Just randomly. It's just like
he was doing a book signing at the very same Barnes and Nobles I met Charlton Heston, by the way. He was doing a book signing for Everybody Loves Raymond book that was basically like a coffee table book about the series because the series at the time was just wrapping up. And I kind of was like, hey, big fan. And I was like, what a stupid question. You have literally like 8 seconds with the person. I'm like, so what are you going to do now that the show's ending? And he just kind of looked at me like,
rest.
Romano voice.
It's like, hey, are you friends with this numbnuts in Chicago? Who asked me about
a radio show?
No, he was very nice, very sweet.
That Men of a Certain Age TNT show that he did with Scott Bakula and Andre Brower was fantastic. And
I didn't watch. My wife watch it. She said it was great.
It was a really smart show, and it absolutely spoke to middle-aged men in the best way. And what's your face? Penelope Ann Miller was in it too.
I heard that Get Shorty was good too. The one that he did for Stars or
Epics, yeah, for Epics. I haven't watched it yet. I keep meaning to watch it. Hey, I finally finished Pennyworth. Pennyworth was amazingly good.
Wasn't that on Epics too?
Yes, and I mean, don't worry about canon because it doesn't. I mean, it is almost ridiculous how much of a super spy they make Alfred into. I mean, not gadgety James Bond in any way, but I mean, very hyper violent. But it's a great '60s British gangster and British secret agent kind of story. It's fantastic. I love.
Well, hopefully it'll show up on HBO Max, right?
I don't know who. Yeah, I don't know who produced. It depends, I guess, who produced it. I suppose.
Well, eventually they're all DC shows. Right?
You would think, but again, I don't know. I don't know because they might have licensed it from Warner's, but another studio might have made it. I'm not sure.
How many episodes was it, Johnny?
Either 10 or 13. I forget. Only one season so far. I hope they make another season. I don't know if they're going to.
I'm a fan of the 8 to 10 or 13 episode. No, 13 is kind of much, but I like the 8 to 10 episode seasons.
Well, when I would have my initial conversations with Brad Meltzer, because he had his oh god, what was it called, Jack and Bobby show, along with like his reality shows, he would do live action drama and everything. And I'm like, and other like, and I've talked to about with Loeb and some others, Jesse Alexander, another TV writer, and I'm like, when is American television going to adopt the British, style like that, where they only do sometimes only 3 episodes, like Sherlock. So many of those seasons of Sherlock were only 3 90-minute episodes, but they were amazing. And they're like, yeah, but the problem is with American TV, syndication was such a big part of paying for the show, and a lot of expenses that were upfront to make, a typical 20 or 24 episode a year show would be the money would be recouped supposedly when they would go in syndication. Well, that model doesn't exist anymore. I mean, most local stations don't take the hour-long syndicated shows. They play internationally, but they're not making what they used to. And I think finally people recognize that. I mean, the Good Place was a great example of that, being a network show and only doing like 11 episodes a season.
Yeah. Interesting.
Did you ever see, there was a great UK show called No Heroics.
Yes.
That was 6 episodes long.
Yep.
Only for 1 season. So funny.
Yeah, Rich Johnson was a big fan of that. That's how I became aware of it, and I was watching it. Yep.
But yeah, that's a great model. I agree. I like that model. And
well, again, it's you concentrate. Life on Mars, the British Life on Mars TV show, they were going into they only made 2 seasons, and they were only 10 or 13 episodes a season. And at this, I bought the DVD sets, and at the one of the special features was an interview with the producers, and they're like, our main character is supposedly in a coma and thinks they're in 1973. They're like, we can't quantum leap this where he's in a coma for 5 seasons. We got to wrap this up. And I mean, it was that kind of like, not,
Is
and
it
also
wrapped up in the 2 seasons?
Yeah. Oh God, it's so good. Oh my God. And it's funny actually, at C2E2, I'll admit I bought bootleg DVDs of the follow-up series, Ashes to Ashes, which was a different cop who finds herself in the 80s. It's the same set of characters from Life on Mars that are in this coma dream world, but it's 10 years later and stuff. So both shows are fantastic. They're amazing.
Sometimes now when I watch a show, I almost hope that it only lasts a season.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, I hate that when they don't plan for it. When they leave things upended and stuff like that. That's when I'm annoyed.
But nowadays, like I can give 2 examples of shows that were cut short way too early, and then they had such a large fan base that for fan service sake, they allowed them to do either a movie or a snippet to end it. One was Frequency. Did you watch the show Frequency based on the old
Warren
No.
Movie?
The movie Frequency. Sure. No,
Right.
I didn't see the TV show.
It was actually really, really good. The girl who's in Star Trek Picard, who plays the female villain, she was actually the main character. She played the male lead character from the movie, and the movie ended up. The series only it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot actually, and it ended season 1, and then when they replayed them, knowing that the series was canceled, they added like an additional 5 minutes onto the last episode that wrapped it all up. And I was like,
oh, that's cool.
And then the whole thing with, did you guys watch Timeless?
I did watch Timeless. Yeah, that I was annoyed with because I hate time travel shows. And I think Johnny and I have talked about this.
I don't remember yet. Why do you hate time travel shows?
Lost. Everybody loves Lost. I fucking hate it. It's like, 5 months ago. 3 months ago. 2 weeks ago. 5 weeks from now. That whole jumping around thing. And then they didn't know what the hell they were doing. I started to watch Timeless. The cool thing about Timeless is that when they went back in time and they changed something, they came back to the future. Everything was changed.
And
I was like, holy crap. And it was on for 2 seasons or something like that.
Seasons.
Or maybe 3. It was on for 2 seasons.
No, it was 2 seasons.
And it was such a fan-base driven show that they added an hour and a half for 2-hour movie to
It
wrap
was
up
a
the whole
2-hour
thing.
movie to wrap up the whole series. Yeah.
I remember when they did that for Farscape, and
Yeah,
they had that bonus 4-episode hour story, and I'm glad they did that. But sometimes, like the American Life on Mars, they cut short, and it was canceled in mid-season, and they had the ending, and it was hokey. It was very different from the way the British show ended, and it was a really missed opportunity because they had a really good cast, but they really just took the British scripts and gave them to Harvey Keitel and Michael Imperioli, because it's the guy's in a coma and he wakes up and he thinks he's in 1973, and then all of his surroundings say he is. So in Life on Mars, it was happening in England, but the American one, it was New York, 1973, and Harvey Keitel was the captain of the squad and stuff, and it was like, oh, here's a really good opportunity for Harvey Keitel to be Harvey Keitel, but he was doing literally the same lines that Phil Gleisner, the actor that played the captain in Chief Inspector in the British version, and that guy could turn a phrase and be really glib, and Harvey Keitel isn't glib. He takes his time, and it'd be like, "Oh, you're gonna give your girl a twirl," and it's like, "Wow, that sounds really awkward coming from Harvey Keitel," as opposed to, "Oh, look, he's gonna give his girl a twirl," and it's like, "Yeah, big fucking."
Ooh, that does sound better.
Yes,
It does.
Well, again, because he was faster. That guy was taking cocaine while he was doing his.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Like Watchmen was one season and out.
Yes.
It was brilliant.
Not to name drop, but Gibbons was actually, he's like, I give Damon Lindelof a lot of credit of knowing, wow, I really made something here. Time to walk away.
Yep.
And I think it's the smart move. I really think it's because
I have it all.
That was
I have
a
it all
very
DVR'd.
thought it.
So good.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly great, and there's still interesting choices that but I it's its own story. And again, that's another thing that Dave said, and he's 100% right, that they managed to stay in the universe but tell a very different story. Absolutely. And still touch on old characters and stuff, but not interfere with what's happened before and tell its own story. It's
to me, I wasn't a big fan of the first few episodes. It kind of for me, but by the time you got to the last couple of episodes, it was like a big giant Kaiser Soze, like everything just tied.
Don't tell me.
I'm not telling
he's not telling you specifics.
I'm not telling you what. I'm just telling you that it wrapped up so well that it was like, this was genius.
Let me tell you something. If you just ruined this for me, if
why what I don't think
if Kaiser Soze shows up in the last episode, I'm going to be pissed at you.
Kaiser Soze needs work. Don't kid yourself. He's been canceled.
As much as you guys did not like Picard, I think if Picard died at the end of that series, really died at the end,
it still would have sucked.
It still would have sucked.
And that would have been the end. I think it would have been. I think it would have been a brilliant move.
Still would have sucked. Story wise, everything else
horrible.
I like that job. I like
crap. Exactly.
What about what did you guys think of Joey, the spin-off of Friends?
Ooh, yeah.
That should have went on to 11
one season and out. Just one season and out. They just got in there, told the story, and got out.
And I'm amazed that Jamie Farr wasn't part of it, but after MASH.
Yeah, after MASH.
He wasn't
part of it?
Was Clear in it or not? Maybe he was actually.
He probably was.
I think he was in it because it was Jamie Farr, Harry Morgan, and William Christopher.
And Radar showed up, right?
Radar showed up as a guest star a couple times.
Which didn't make sense since he wasn't in the last few episodes, few seasons.
But they're back. But they're stateside. No,
seasons, but it didn't make sense to me career-wise. In that Bergdorf left MASH because he was an actor and he wasn't getting as much recognition. And then when they decided to do this shitty,
no, he left the show because
I wasn't able to get work.
No, he left the show because his mom needed help on the farm.
Right.
That's true. You're right.
Can we do an after MASH now? How about now with the actors now? Ooh. We still got Alan Alda. You still got Jamie Farr. He's still hanging out. He's making videos every day.
Yeah.
Low battery. Way after MASH.
Yeah.
Way after MASH.
And Pacos. They could eat Pacos.
They all be for lunch. every day
Yeah. Yeah.
at a diner.
Takes
They
place
all
in
meet for
Toledo.
dinner at 2 p.m. at Packy's.
No, they're in a retirement home and everything.
They
No,
all
for
go to a
crying
mud
out
hen.
loud, Klinger, we don't want hot dogs. Just shut up.
Hey, incidentally,
Captain,
got the Beirut today.
I got a scheme for us to get the green Jello today, Captain. at the home.
No, happy.
God.
It's true. Joey should have been one episode now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, he made his Showtime show. What was it called? I can't remember now. Was it
It was
not
called
extras?
Episodes.
Episodes. Thank you. Episodes is a funny show. It was a really funny show.
Yeah, he played like a jerk version of himself or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
also,
he played-
man, poor Joey went premature gray really fast.
Yeah.
And I gotta admit, I like the Man with a Plan, which they just canceled, which is on CBS right now. I like that, like as a sitcom, brainless show. But,
What about that Aaron Sorkin show that lasted a season? The
West Wing.
It is.
Sunset Strip. That was like
Oh,
a
yeah.
Saturday Night Live, behind the scenes of Saturday Night Live esque. That was a great show too.
I thought that was a poorly written show.
What about Listen Up, Johnny?
It was. Hold on, I want to talk about Sunset Trip for a second, and then we'll talk about Listen Up. Bendis and I would like, because Bendis obviously such a Sorkin fan, and I appreciated the idea behind it, but man, they tried for the same gravitas that they had on the West Wing, and it's one thing to go, Mr. President, we need to get in the Situation Room. The South Korea has just been attacked. To Mr. President of the network, we have to sit down because we really have to start winning on Friday nights with ratings. And again, they had that kind of grave attitude on the business side, and also the comedy wasn't funny. I mean, it made no sense because they had Dale Hughley and I think a lot of very talented actors on the show. But
Matthew Perry.
Just, what's that?
What about
Matthew
what about
Perry?
Cop-
Absolutely.
Matthew Perry.
about
Sarah
Cop
Paulson was really good. So, but what were you going to say? I'm sorry, Scoot. I didn't mean to.
I'm surprised you aren't a fan of Listen Up, the show starring Jason Alexander playing Tony Kornheiser. Remember that show?
Oh, I do remember that show. That's hilarious. Yeah, Sports Night was great. And it's interesting. I've been watching reruns of News Radio. And I mean, I did love it when it was on in the 90s. And yeah, I mean, that sadly, when Phil Hartman passed away,
Yeah.
and Lovitz tried to be a good guy because he was best friends with Hartman. And he's like, hey, I really want to take Phil's place. And on paper, it could have been another Woody Harrelson entering Cheers and everything would be fine. But the chemistry was just gone. It just wasn't as good. And so it ended after that season and everything.
What about Cop Rock, Johnny?
Cop Rock. I know. Funny. Classic.
I have been watching reruns, old episodes of Third Rock from the Sun, which I've always found funny.
Very funny show.
John Lithgow is amazing in anything he does.
God. That entire cast. I mean, honestly, what's giant woman's name?
Kristen Stewart.
I think
Kristen Johnson.
Yeah. Kristen Johnson, because French Stewart, of course, was French Stewart. Was funny.
French Stewart. That's where I got Kristen Stewart, the actress.
Yeah,
That's French Stewart and Kristen Johnson. Yeah,
and
a very very young. What's his face?
Yeah, 3-name boy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. No, very funny. Jane Curtin.
Yeah,
he should go by his real name, Robin.
I watched an episode last night with. I watched an episode last night where she gets together with her brother, and her brother is Bronson Pinchot.
Jane Curtin's brother is Bronson
Perfect
Pinchot?
Strangers.
Yeah, from Perfect Strangers. Yeah,
and of course Surge from the Beverly Hills Cop movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid.
I was watching a Goldberg's episode where they have a Russian immigrant come to live with them for a while, and
it's their cousin, yeah.
and they're showing him Perfect Strangers, and he's really insulted by Perfect Strangers.
Balky.
Don't be stupid. Of course not. Man, that show made me hate Mark Lynn Baker because I loved him in the Peter O'Toole movie.
Peter O'Toole is a double phallic name.
Thank you. My Favorite Year, which was basically an homage to like Sid Caesar in Your Show of Shows, and Mark Lynn Baker plays the Mel Brooks character in that movie, and it's very cute and funny and stuff like that. But then with Belky, he really standing tall on the wings of whatever the hell the theme song is.
Love, I believe it's Love.
Rise and fall.
I forget what show. It had to have been Family Guy or something, but it ended with the Perfect Strangers theme song, and I never watched it up, but I just love how cheesebally that song is and stuff. On the wings of whatever.
At one point, they both worked for the same newspaper, and their boss's name was Mr. Twinkasetti. It's a good name.
No. They both worked in the same pawn shop, and the pawn shop's owner was Mr. Twinkasetti. When they moved to the newspaper, it was a different boss, different name. Yes.
What did Balky do at the newspaper? Was he a janitor or something?
I believe he wrote copy.
Your mama.
Yeah.
I wrote the copy.
I just got Mycroft Holmes.
Yes, he wrote Mycroft Holmes. I thought I was going to say he wrote the Yakov Smirnoff column. In my country, party follow you.
He's like Tony
in my country, obituary write you. Oh, sorry.
It's like Tony Kukoc.
And by the way, that was another
reminds
thing
me
in that Goldberg's episode. They show him Yakov Smirnoff, and he's again incredibly offended by Yakov. He makes fun of bad things in Russia. That is not comedy. And he's just got this scowl on his face as he's watching Yakov's stand-up. Very funny.
Nice.
I like the Goldbergs. Goldbergs is a good show.
Couldn't get through season 1.
I can appreciate that.
You got to go through it. You got to.
Well, just like Watchmen, and that's a good point that Mike makes, Francis. When you do watch it, because you can easily be like, I think I'm going to bail because this isn't really doing it for me. But like all of a sudden, what happens in the third episode? You're like,
come
that's
on
it.
now.
Right, I'm curious.
I'm with the Clone Wars cartoon. I can't get through that Clone Wars cartoon that first season.
I just got through the first season, but I have to watch it. I can't watch it while I'm working, or else I miss everything.
I didn't like it.
It's true.
I liked Rebels though.
No, I'm gonna watch it. I'm doing it.
Nice.
All right, we could be done.
I was gonna literally say, I just saw the clock, and I'm like, as I yawn and stuff, I'm like, I got to talk to Chris Robertson and Allison Baker in 90 minutes. I could use a nap.
Yeah, I gotta talk to some other person now.
All right, there we go. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's not going to be an audio. I'm telling because I'm not editing. Sorry. So
you got to put it out.
Go on Amazon and buy $6 earbuds and fix that.
I'm actually going to go on Amazon and buy floodlights.
Hey, you know what a good idea is, Scoot? Two things. One, make noise when people are talking, and the other is doing this bullshit while someone's trying to tell a story. Because it's not distracting at all for people who are watching. Not
you
at
said
all.
to get closer, and it's more clear, so I got closer, and it worked.
It's funny stuff.
Again, all these people. And the only thing, God bless Skoke, who actually listened to me when I'm telling a story, and he's, I'm watching the monitor. And it's
you got mad at him for watching you.
I didn't know what the hell he was doing. Again, because when anyone who's watching this crap, they have no idea what the hell's going on. It's distracting where it's like, if I suddenly just go, while someone's doing a story, no, continue, please.
Mario's going to draw a picture of you doing that, by the way.
I have no doubt, and I'm sure I'll be in a Wonder Woman outfit. My tits will be hanging out and everything. Feel free, Mario. There's your inspiration. Jesus
I love
Christ. It. Yeah, we get it, Mike. Believe me, we get it.
I can't wait for the...
Kill some more vampires, Mike. Go ahead.
I can't wait for the audio version of this.
Ain't gonna happen. This is your video exclusive, kids.
I'm gonna release it as a bootleg.
Ain't gonna happen.
I just remembered something. We didn't tell the ghost stories again.
Oh, so all right, next episode we'll talk ghost stories.
We'll do it next time.
Yeah,
we'll do a ghost story.
Gotta do it. Absolutely.
We'll do it. Ghost stories. Say goodbye, everybody.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I like pink.
I like pink very much, Lois.
I like floodlights, Lois.
Thank you very much, Lois.
I like
pink very much, Lois.
Exactly.
I like being in the submarine very much. All right. Bye-bye.
Change my picture.